Welcome to the Sci-Fi Center, the place to be, where comic books and wrestling collide magically. Movies, TV shows, and pop culture we share. Get ready to rock, we're here to take you there. From superheroes to aliens in outer space, we've got the latest news and reviews in our embrace. Turn on your screen, let the neon lights glow. We'll take you back to the 80s. Let's rock and roll. Sci-Fi Center, where the legends come alive. Get ready to geek out, let your imagination fly. We're diving into the past with a touch of modern flair. Sci-Fi Center, we go to let pop culture lair.
Happy Saturday. Happy. But it's we'll go ahead and just get this out the way. Happy 500 subscribers. Started the day with 442. We are currently now at 568, which means once YouTube verifies a couple of things, we'll be able to take super chats. Woohoo! Made up a lot of ground today. One of our sponsors, Hot 702, which is a radio station we do a lot of promotions with. A lot of these guys were watching us on X or Twitter or whatever you want to call it. So I asked her today, hey, do me a favor and let all these guys know that we have a YouTube channel, and if they could go ahead and subscribe to it. And within we opened up the Godzilla -1 stream with 442. We are currently at 568. Made up a lot of ground today, so happy with that. So the next plateau for us would be to get with the ad revenue with AdSense, but that's 1,000 followers. Who knows? But at this point, I'm just happy to be at 500. We just hit 570, so there you go. We're at 570. So for those of you who are brand new watching us for the very first time, welcome to our anchor show, our weekly show, the Saturday overnight live edition of the Sci-Fi Center Presents. I'm your host. For those of you who are seeing me for the very first time, sorry, I do have a face made for a podcast, but you get to see me. I'm one of your hosts. The other host is on his way. His name, in fact, he just popped in. So I'll make my head a little bit up, but he just exited himself out. But all right, tonight's topics, among other things, we're going to talk about the long impact that the character, the Incredible Hulk, has had, not just in comic books, and not just in the newer movies, but going all the way back to the late 70s, where Bill Bixby and Lou Ferrigno teamed up to create a pretty awesome show for the times. The comic itself, and a lot of different other things that the Incredible Hulk has been involved with over the last 45 to 50 years. We'll go over some of the comics that are behind me now. Also, we'll discuss the Alien franchise, the overall Alien franchise, not just that includes the two shitty ones, which is actually three. There are three shitty ones, in my opinion. I did not like AVP. I hated Requiem, and I think Alien 3 is probably one of the worst science fiction horror movies ever made. Right behind its sequel, Alien Resurrection, which was dog shit. But hey, there's more good Alien than there is bad. And then we got one coming up on this fall that looks like it's along the lines of the original, the first two. But and then we'll also discuss Prometheus and Covenant, because I still love those movies. And then we'll. This is the last weekend that this is the last non-House of the Dragon weekend until August 4th. So we're gonna, talk about that. What the expectations are as far as you guys. I'm going to talk as if I don't know what's going to happen because I know the majority of you will not and have not read the books, which I can completely understand. But House of the Dragon is big for me. I do screenings here, and next week is week 1 of 8, and then we'll do that thing that I usually do and end up regretting it almost immediately after I press the button, and that's let in the raccoons that is my adoring public and see what they can tear up with our new audience. Let me apologize in advance for all of you new people. Got a collection of knuckleheads, and this is why we have
Hellions, as I call them.
Yeah, this is why we have, and it's growing. The ban list is like I said, try to stem the nonsense. It's a losing battle, but I try. It grows every Saturday. It'll grow tonight. Banned from discussion list is 90s Batman and X-Men cartoons. If you want to find out, if you're new and you want to ask me, go ahead and ask me. But for most of you, you've been there long enough, you understand. Pineapple on anything because pineapple needs to be bred out of existence. It's just nasty. Bad good burger jokes. There are no such thing as a good burger joke. Brad tries in vain. He fails every time. Bane and Venom, the two most overused characters of the last 35 years. Any space that a comic book story has in, every writer or editor or whatever tries to stuff those two characters in them.
Brad's awesome, totally true Mad Max, 100% confirmed tinfoil hat theory.
Boneheaded Mad Max.
That is borne out by all the evidence.
That even if it is true, might be one of the dumbest things that anybody could ever do to sabotage your franchise. James Gunn's DCU, simple because just not excited. I mean, the most excited I got the last couple of days is some of the announcements that are going to be happening with the Green Lantern. But once again, somebody asked me, somebody posted a comment a couple of days ago saying, well, William, it'll be in December, and you'll say it's 9 months out, not time to talk about it. It's not just about the length of time, because guess what? Some of the stuff that's happening with Fantastic Four is happening right around the same time, and I'm more excited about the FF than I am about the DCU right now. I just don't trust the DCU. You're asking me to get excited about something when I just saw how you handled the last version of that thing. So I'm just not going to do it right now. You want me to talk and get excited over the next year about something you've done nothing but fuck up over the last 5 years. So my mind is open to give it a chance, but that's not me, holding on to my seat, waiting for news to come out. So that's on the ban list. The Snyderverse, because all it does is invite shitheads to fuck with people like us who enjoy Snyder's work. So we ban that unless we need to talk about it. What's the bottom one? Oh, found footage, because it's just lazy. It's just lazy. I should not be paying more to see your movie than you paid to make your movie. Right? So that's the ban list, but trust me, we're only on page 1 of it. By the time it's over, we'll probably be like Moses with tablets and that shit. So,
Yeah,
all right.
Get the banning topics by any chance?
Nope.
Why not? Oh, and I guess we can bend the rule of one of these.
No. The whole family, Toxin, all the entire symbiote, King in Black, the whole storyline was just. There was a time when it worked. Then people just ran out of ideas, and every single time that they ran out of ideas, they used one of those two characters. And then they use them in the same old standard way, and it just became, passe. So, all right, how you doing, Goji, Cyber Goji Brothers?
Yeah, newcomer.
Thanks for stopping by. I hope you drop a like.
Godzilla -1 today.
Yep. Yes. Yeah. Happy to have you. Yeah, we had 100. We had more than that. Like I said, we are currently at 570, I think.
Yeah, and counting.
I should have done that a lot sooner. We should have reached out to her and said, because I know her people are watching. Hi, Hot 702 listeners. By the way, thank you for giving us the boost today, and thank you for giving us the boost on the couple of nights that you guys have tuned in at our direction. Hopefully, you enjoyed the movie tickets for those of you who went to Bad Boys. How you doing, Spider-Man? Okay, so let's see. Clinton, I just saw Clinton. Yeah, I just got a Beyond Burger, a double Beyond Burger, and those the patties are they're thick. They're on the way. Shut up, Brad. They're half inch. Yeah, they're quarter inch. Their quarter inch patties are huge though. Yeah, I get a double too. So their burgers are they're very big. Nerd Coast and Ocean, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm gonna keep the landing page up to see, like, because right now we're at 571. So we started today with the watch party at like 442. So
442. I was just looking for a couple of them, but she has a huge following here in Las Vegas.
Yeah,
that'd be cool if we hit 600 tonight. That'd be nice. I mean, like I said, we're now I should easily be reviewed because I'm within that margin of error. You know how you go up and down. We're 70 over that. I doubt I'm gonna lose. Well, I could piss off some people and lose 70 tonight, but I doubt it. I'm not in that rare form tonight. Sorry, Jimmy, about the Rangers. I was telling you when you asked me a couple of weeks ago if this went to 6 or 7, that the Panthers. I had a bad feeling about that. I thought that the Rangers had to win in less than 6, and then just seeing what the Panthers did tonight. By the way, I was already having a good day. Other than the air conditioner and all that, when I'm surviving that, that's not a huge issue. We sold 125 Star Trek books today. I was we reached our 500. Now we're headed to 600 subscribers. Everything is going away. And to top it off, the Edmonton Oilers lost Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Finals. Three more of those, and we'll be able to say goodbye to the Edmonton Oilers. Cheating motherfuckers. You get to join me, Jimmy. How you doing, Droga? Let's see. William is too cheap to buy subscribers. That is correct. Let's see. So I have to hit apply yet, and I'm still waiting for the little button because I've done everything. I've done the 2-step for members. You get memberships too, so you guys can become members too. What's the last verse of the same song? I should put the subtitles back here. Oh yeah, I just saw this shit. Sorry for you non-wrestling people. I can't not be a wrestling fan. Thoughts on Ricochet deciding to leave WWE after his contract expires at the end of the summer? I know where he's going. The only thing about Ricochet that I needed to know is whether he was going to leave or not. That's the only thing. If he decided to leave, I knew exactly where he's going. He's going where Will Ospreay is. And I have a huge feeling that Will Ospreay courting him is going to have a huge deal. That's a massive pickup for him. Ricochet is not being used to his full extent. I think Ricochet is a potential top level guy. He has everything. And he's been in WWE enough to where anything he's not going to develop, he's not going to get it there anytime soon. I am excited about that. I love his wrestling style. I think he's been a mid-carder too long. I think AEW would be perfect for him. I could just run off the names of people that he would make 5-star matches with. So I was kind of happy to hear about that. Yeah, thank you. Like I said, I didn't want to bring your day down, but I know you're a Rangers fan, and I had picked the Rangers to go all the way. But yeah, I mean, watching Florida tonight, she dominated those fools, and Bobrovsky he plays that kind of goal that in 2012 Jonathan Quick played, and it played with people's minds. It demoralized the opponent. He made so many crazy ass stops that you could see it in the opponent's eyes that they weren't putting. They were giving up during the shot. They're like, this ain't getting past him. What am I doing here? That's what I saw tonight with Florida. I mean, they beat him 3-0 with an empty goaler, but there just was no space tonight for the Oilers. Like I said, I 3 more of these, and the prolonged suffering of the Edmonton Oilers will continue for year 35. Woohoo! Sorry for you non-NHL fans. There's a hatred there. Immortal Hulk, all Hulk. We're going to talk all Hulk. We're going to talk Peter David run. We're going to talk. I think the Immortal Hulk outside of the Peter David run is probably the greatest 50-issue story arc of a lot of any non-X-Men comic. Immortal Hulk was just good from issue 1 all the way until they ended it, and they started Now we have the new Incredible Hulk right here. We'll bring that up. And if you notice this one, where's that? So the coolest thing about this one is the Incredible Hulk #1 is basically a mock-up of the original. This is the original one right here. Not the original. It's a copy. If I had the original, it would not be here. It'd be in a safe somewhere. So we're gonna talk Hulk. Let's see.
I've seen that also includes MCU Hulk and all his ups and downs.
Yeah, the first movie was just kind of like not attached, but then kind of not as much as everything else. But I actually think as the Hulk went on, they kind of ruined the character for me. I liked Alien Covenant. It's really hard to judge it fully without there's the third one coming. I still think we're going to get that either that third one, or you're going to get pieces of that third one, and then the Alien show. I think he didn't put that out there just to leave it dead, and he has a lot of control over what happens next. Ricochet has been so underutilized in WWE. I'm happy he's going to go to a company that will use him right. Yeah, and if he goes to AEW, he can work with New Japan, which I think he can make a lot of money in New Japan. I like pineapple upside down. Jeez. And a good burger while watching this. Okay, all right. Well, he basically made a band sandwich there. I know a lot of people are, and I'm not going to be the guy that tells you not to be. I'm just not. And I don't want to talk it to death because I don't have that kind of enthusiasm yet. The only thing I can tell you when it comes to Guns DCU right now is I am inclined to, even if I think Superman is a shitty movie, if I need to lie about it to get to Lanterns, don't believe me when I tell you my opinion about Superman. I come out of the theater and say, no, what the fucking greatest movie I ever saw in my life. It's better than The Godfather or Blade Runner.
Well, if William says it's better than Blade Runner, then you know he's lying.
Yeah, I'm doing that because if Superman doesn't do well in the eyes of whoever, I might not get Lanterns. And now that you've told me that Damon Lindelof is a showrunner and the writer of it and part of the creative structure of it, I have to have this show. You're giving me the two first things that they're giving me are the two things I can do without. Don't care about Creature Commandos, and I'm not really enthused about Superman. But Wonder Woman, Paradise Lost, Amazon Paradise Lost, and this Lantern show, I'll do what I need to do, to get to those shows. But I'm not really sure the company's going to be in the same hands by then. But that's a different subject. There we go, Vince. Vince knows. He understands.
No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. Nobody does with me.
Here we go.
No, he's just talking out of his ass there.
There we go. There's our executive producer. He knows he's a skilled.
He's a skilled guy at talking nonsense.
Here's my favorite Australian. He's cutting Brad off.
Aaron.
He's about to blasphemy.
And yeah, for our new subscribers, that you came just in the nick of time to see Aaron jump on camera last weekend when we did our watch party because I had a big, kind of build up to coming on camera and I have my avatar, and then Aaron says, "Okay, I'm gonna come on, but I'm not even gonna tell him what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna switch it on, just surprise everybody."
Okay, William, how dare you bound fan footage, man? Yeah, this is a totalitarianistic tool. It's not a happy. William, how dare you bound fan footage movies? There's some of the great ones out there. Okay, you know what? I've been meaning to time you out, but I think I'll get around to it tonight. William, is Eternity War storyline comments way too convoluted and complicated to work in? It depends on who's doing it. I think on its face, yes, but I thought the Infinity Gauntlet, the Infinity Saga was a lot of shit stuffed in there. So there we go. Trial to the World, whatever. I am not going to hit every comment today, guys, simply because I'm going to try to not have a 4-hour show tonight. So
572. That's where we're currently sitting at on subscribers.
You have plenty. Fourth. So there you go. I didn't say Immortal Hulk sucks. Who said that? No, you must. You're talking to somebody else. No, I think that's one of the best 50 issues because it lasted 50 issues, and I got a lot of them here. The Alex Ross, because what Artie is talking about is every issue would have an alternate cover that Alex Ross did, and they were all. I'm gonna bring some of them out too, so when we get to that. I hated that storyline. And I also, be honest with you, I know it's going to get a lot of throwback. I wasn't a big fan of. I was a big fan of World War Hulk when it started, but by the time it was over, it was just kind of like. Nah. I'll
From the heat.
Quicker than that. Yeah, it was Ghostbusters 40th anniversary today.
Yeah.
I don't know. You could be. I mean,
Nice thing
you
about
never lied to us
Ford,
about how you, yeah. I believe you 100% because you're not a terrible liar. Yeah, but well, like I said, if Superman Legacy loses money, there's a good chance I won't get lanterns. That to me is like that. That's yeah. It's not for the most part. He can be, but when he's on top of his game, you get leftovers and Watchmen. When he's not on top of his game, you get lost. There you go. I just be fair there. Yeah, we're not gonna. I need to. Yeah, or we need to not be 4 hours. No. Immortal. Immortal Hulk, because I thought it was a good run. Yeah, if you are new and you're in the chat, identify yourself so we can say hi. All right, so yeah, because right now, like I said, we made up a lot of ground subscriber rise. My goal, you know what? I had a goal to be at 500 before Comic-Con, and now we're there. We are at 573, so we got 4 just on the in the time we've been on the show. How you doing, Jay Kessel? Casali, how you doing? Daryl, I plan on it. Like I said, it's another one of those movies where I sent people to go see it, but my schedule was just like, ugh.
I did give it a look on last night and really enjoyed it. I actually asked William because I was reporting back on kind of the turnout for it, which is pretty good, probably the best.
Where is it, by the way? Is it making a lot of money?
Oh, it's doing very good. It's in fact, let me go pull that up because I think what I saw earlier is that like Friday it did Friday did like 21. So like if there's a good chance with that it's like it might even clear 60.
Because they don't spend a terrible amount of money on those. They spend money, but it's not like,
Yeah, this one cost 100 million, which is I mean, wow. It's not that's not nothing,
not bad at all, dude.
Yeah, that's not nothing as far as like budget, but I mean, it's especially by today's standards, that's relatively it's kind of playing a little close to the vest.
What's his global total?
In fact, I'll pull up this Hollywood Report article right here. But yeah, I was talking with William about it after when I'm seeing because with the turnaround these days from theaters to PVODs, even for stuff that's really successful, tends to be pretty quick. So we were kind of wondering if it would be it would still be like a month from that. He said, yeah, they probably have already set their date for PVOD.
I think they set their date.
And RJ's got a sit rep on it too. Saw Batman's 49. It was great. Yeah, loved it with your set. I told you it was going to be a great turnout for that because mine was also.
Yeah, like I said, that's the right. That's the right decision. That's when you've done everything right. When you're leading up to. All right, guys, stop. I keep getting people tagging me, sending me messages on my. I'm not watching Bridgerton. Somebody just sent me with William. Are you watching? But no, I'm not watching. What about me says Bridgerton to you?
By the way, also RJ, since you've seen it, what did you think of it? Don't say what it was, but as I mentioned when I talked to William about it last night, this movie has, let's say, a little bit of fun, making a nod to a recent Will
Well, they're
Smith
gonna know what
controversy.
they're gonna know what you mean. Just
Yeah.
there's no. I mean,
But what's
I doubt anybody's gonna be that.
yeah? What like
That thing.
how'd your theater react to it? Because my audience was just, I mean, they were like, oh yeah, they were just so into that moment, and they were and they were laughing and cheering the whole time. But that was like, I mean, that's the biggest laugh it got the whole movie was the allusion to the slap. I'll call it. Yeah, I'll go ahead and let me pull this article about the where it's sitting right now, box office wise.
Holy shit, dude! It's at 216. No, oh, I thought it's at 216. It's at 21 million. That's
Yeah,
not.
for like
That can't
the
be
Friday.
including today.
Yeah, it's not including today. This is from Hollywood Reporter. Yeah, it's just for
You probably
Friday,
got
and that also pools like when they say that they tend to pool like whatever it makes on the Thursday night shows.
Oh, okay, 53 million. There you go.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. No. Well, if it did 21 on Friday, I think it might do bigger than that. I think it might cross 60.
Dude, that's a win.
Yes.
That's a win. And then for clowns like me, who can't get out right now, because otherwise, you're gonna make my money. You're gonna get my money because I'm definitely gonna watch it here. So,
but yeah, William, it was when we were talking about it, he said, yeah, they probably already got their PVOD
that PVOD
date set. So you may, I mean, you could be, we could be like doing this around the time we do our annual, the world does its annual Independence Day, revisit with Will Smith. Could be have that on PVOD or
I really hope he comes out and says, you know what, I'm signed on for the next Independence Day movie. The resurgence just never happened. And you know what? When you make the new Independence Day movie, joke about how resurgence never happened.
Yeah.
Because that.
Well, that was. I mean, we see. I mean, look at like whenever you do like a sequel to a Will Smith movie, doesn't have him in it. I mean, they tend to not do that well.
So. Yeah, and I would love to see him come back, and everybody's still alive. All those people are still alive. I mean, let's do it right this time, and let's do it with Will Smith. Jeff Goldblum, I guess, is going to go ahead and live to 400, so he's still around.
Yeah.
Judd Hirsch, who plays his father,
is going to live to like 800.
Is eating from that magical root. He's still around. Bill Pullman is still around. Hell, his fucking kid could be in the movie. He played one of the he played Bob in Top Gun 2. So I just do it. Will Smith, if you're watching this show, if you're one of our new subscribers, by the way, like and subscribe. Let's take that bad taste out of our mouth. Let's Highlander to Independence Day, because that was an awful movie.
Yeah, even the highlight, even the headline here says the news is a major boost for the actor who could now make a career comeback 2 years after the Academy Awards presenter Chris Rock on live television. Yeah, like I said, for those of you who haven't seen, and yeah, you probably are already guessing like what I'm alluding to, or have a picture in your head of what it is if you haven't seen yet. But the movie does something that's clearly meant to be like that we're having like. Yeah, Will Smith slapped the guy on national television, kind of a joke. They have a meta thing with that in the movie, and my audience was just rolling at that. So yeah,
I heard his son steals the show.
Mike's son in the movie. They have a kind of a team up in it without going too much of spoilers. Yeah,
Mike. I'm gonna go see it. So. All right, now it's come that which it's going to be that weekly thing. Wait, hold on. I know you guys can smell it. It's Sister Kim's. Sister Kim's at this very shut up, Brad. Sister Kim's at this very moment is calling out my name to go pick up my dinner and bring it back here. I might give you a tour of it. I might show you every angle.
Oh, you've taken them in there. You've seen there before on your phone.
Yeah. It's I may give you a tour of the burger though, because it's huge. Something's up with Kim today. The burgers are supersized today. She's in a great mood because, like I said, the patties are like fucking like two-handed. So I'm gonna go get my food. I'm gonna go ahead let Brad probably ruin the show and get us taken off. He'll probably do some copyrighted shit. So when I come back, I'll see us off the air and I'll be like, it only took him 10 minutes.
We got new subscribers. I don't want to ruin the first night here.
We're gonna play a drinking game of how many times he connects anything we're talking about to the raid. But
well, Clint kept saying that today in the Godzilla -1 watch party in the chat. It's like, how's it?
I know. I heard.
And we were like, okay. Well, they Japan and Indonesia, they're both part of Asia, so they're both Asian movies, and also they also both take place on planet Earth, which is in the same solar system, and also the Milky Way. So
Yeah, I mean, sure. All right, guys. I'm gonna leave you in Brad's pause for about 10 minutes. And I'll be back.
all right, all right. Let's see what you guys got for me. RJ's. There's a sequence in the movie with a fan favorite character putting in that work and it brought down the house. Same with the entire third act final battle. Yeah, it was. Yeah, and also that's where you can kind of see. Again, I won't give away too much, but there's that behind the scenes video of Will Smith. He's got the gun like this, and he's got the camera rig that will either point ahead of him or point back towards him to show kind of the POV shots. So or the shots looking at him or shots him looking over the gun as he's firing. So that's pretty cool. Seeing that in the third act was they haven't missed a beat. Will Smith and Martin Lawrence. So I mentioned last night to William too. It's the trajectory of the series has been kind of interesting because you had the first one came out in 95, then you have an 8-year gap to the second one, and then you had a 17-year gap to the third one, and now you have a 4-year gap with between the third and the fourth, and probably would have been just a 3-year gap if not for the pandemic. So that's kind of that's kind of where they've had these extended gaps other than in the most recent ones. And it would have, I think it would have been shortened up had it not been for the pandemic, the gap between 3 and 4. So that's kind of interesting. I mean, as William said, Will Smith, become that big a star, you're a busy man. So that partly accounts for that, but still, it's kind of weird seeing that those gaps from one to another, but then they shorten up as we get to the more recent ones. Yeah, RJ, please tell me in the comments what your audience thought about the slap moment. I'll refer to it as the slap like tip of the hat that the movie makes, because my audience, oh man, it was just a laugh right in there when that happened. I mean it was Martin Lawrence. I don't want to give away too many spoilers, but he has kind of like a how can I put this without giving away too much? He goes through kind of like a bit of like an existential, not crisis, but like almost like enlightenment in it. And so it's a lot of the banter that he and Will Smith have, and this is sort of predicated on like he sort of feels like he's gotten to like another plane of existence. So he has a lot of fun with that in this. So they were laughing a lot at that too. But yeah, I really enjoyed it, and clearly audiences are too. And like I said, the first like real genuine hit this summer is Bad Boys Ride or Die. So we can all safely say, I think at this point, that the Will Smith slap controversy is behind us, even though the movie itself has a little bit of fun with it. Also with RJ. 53 million plus is great, especially because tracking has it at 40 million. Oh, it's going to blast right past that 40 million. There is no way it's not going to significantly surpass that. 13 million higher than was expected. It's on par with me. Yeah. It's going to do really, really well. It's going to do very, very well. I told William last night this was the most packed I had seen the parking lot of my theater in several months. Probably the most. Prior to that, the best turnout I'd seen was Godzilla X Kong. And then before that, I don't know. This year, I think those are the two that have drawn the biggest crowds at my theater this year, and where I've seen like the most cars in the parking lot. Yeah, so that was good seeing that seeing that turnout for it. So we'll see what the rest of the year holds as far as obviously everybody's really like expecting Deadpool and Wolverine to really do well. I'm trying to think what else is big that's coming. I think Inside Out 2 is going to do well next weekend. So we'll see. We'll see what I'll do as well. But it's that 40 million. Yeah, it's clearing that without breaking a sweat now. Blame Brad. Blame Brad for what? The movie's doing, the Bad Boys Ride or Die was doing so well? Okay, I can take credit for that. I didn't even do anything, but I'll take credit. It's my fault, or it's my It's my you have me thank that it's doing well. Okay, maybe put that on a shirt that people I did it. It was I made this hit. Brad Boys, no, come on, fourth is fourthing. Yeah, my audience at the part I'm talking about that is the allusion to the Oscar slap. Yeah, that's it brought down the house. I mean, it was it happens and then it's like thunder struck the light. The thunder struck the audience right in the funny bone. And you could tell everybody knew what they were getting at with that. Okay. Brad said predicate. I'm waiting for him to say colloquial. Don't have bingo on my Brad. Oh, lamentably no. I mean, it's like my numerical or my alphabetical you'll gastronomos rapacity knows no satiety. Yeah. Guys, it's like I'm a writer. I'm good. I used to work with words. I'm surprised it took you this long to figure it out. No, I don't want to describe it, man, because it comes so far out of left field. When it happens, it's so, I guess, impactful is the word. When it happens, it just hits you. It hits you so hard, and I'm making puns out of it as I'm talking. It hits you and the audience so hard that it's like, I mean, just the laughter was like nothing I've heard like laughter wise in long time in a theater. So yeah, I don't want to describe it. I mean, I'll just say it involves slapping. It does involve one man slapping another man, as happened, at the Oscars controversy that Will Smith went through. But that's about as far as I go with it. It's funny for the audience why the slap seemed. That's a good question. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and say yes. I think even he might get a good laugh out of this part. I think even he probably would like to say, okay, yeah, that's the. Now, it doesn't mean that he and Will necessarily are going to be, sending each other Christmas cards. But I think even he would probably, or I don't know, maybe we'll like read an interview on Wednesday where he said, it's like, yeah, I thought that, I didn't think, I wasn't, I was impressed with that part of the movie. I'm inclined to think even he would get a laugh out of that, though. I think so. Okay. Let me go this first. What's gonna suck though is, man, people are still gonna hold the slap against. It's like something horrendous like R. Kelly or P. Diddy, and Vince. What are you replying to, Anthony? I'm gonna read this off too. Feels like a bit of whataboutism, Anthony. Yeah, okay, it's still assault, making it not a Beatles, like saying it's okay attacking me. Well, and listen, everybody. I mean, nobody's saying. And I mean, Williams talked about what he thought. He was not. He was very like, no, that wasn't cool, Will. I mean, nobody's saying, nobody thinks that was a smart thing or a good thing or like a proud moment for Will Smith. And I mean, we can't live in a world where people are like walking on stage, slugging each other because they've besmirched the honor of their significant others. It's not okay. You can't do that. But as has been pointed out elsewhere and on here, I mean, people have come back from a lot worse than that and been greeted with open arms. And as Williams said many times, I'm gonna bring this back up when he comes back because I'd love to hear him weigh in on this. But as he said, it's like audiences, fans, moviegoers, whatever. When we make those pronouncements of this individual has crossed some line or something, and I'll never support anything they're a part of again. It's like people are just blowing a lot of hot air most of the time when they say that. I mean, and the other thing too, like this, fans, audience members, whatever term you want to ascribe, and certainly in this country, in America, we love a good redemption story. We love a good comeback story. I mean, and it's happened a lot with people who have done a lot worse than Will Smith smacking Chris Rock in the face during the Oscars. So, yeah, but are they gonna? I mean, I think people. It's not gonna, as we're seeing with the result this weekend, it's not gonna hold his career back enough to where it's like he's gonna get blacklisted or anything. It's not going to be. it's not going to be like something. It's not a comeback that's going to take him 10 years to accomplish, because he's already doing it. He's accomplishing it this weekend as we speak. So, yeah, I think maybe it might still be kind of a punchline, no pun intended, kind of the Oscars, the incident, but yeah, it's like it's not gonna long term. It's not gonna be like that damaging to Will's career, and comparing it to R. Kelly, that's kind of the thing, because I've asked William, and we've talked about this on air before, and one of the things or questions I've raised, like what is something that that people couldn't come back from. We've said things like child William's back, like child sexual abuse, which again R. Kelly and P. Diddy, I mean, falling right into that. So well, I don't know about P. Diddy on that, but definitely R. Kelly. Yeah, we're talking about the slap and the relationship to Bad Boys, and I mean, I think at this point, if this movie's doing this well, right now post slap,
Nobody cares about that
yeah,
anymore.
I think it might still be like you might still get here and there, like on SNL or something. It might be like a bit of a punchline, or it might be like a one-liner. But again, it's not something that's going to like actively inhibit his career trajectory.
Yeah. Nope. Okay, let's start with Alien franchise.
Oh, before you go into that real quick. No, they they don't talk about it. They just have like a moment where it's where something happens, where it's very clear that it's like they're saying like, oh yeah, remember this happened. It's like okay, yeah, where it's like we're just gonna play around with that a little bit. So it's like, but it's like it is what it is. But it was a hilarious. It was again, my audience just it was laugh central in there. The evil were and it happens so suddenly. It happens. I'm that's why I'm so eager when for everybody to get on the same page and see this, because it's like it happens so suddenly. Again, it's like a bolt of lightning, just hits the audience's entire collective funny bone all at once. So, but yeah, that's kind of. I don't want to describe the whole thing in detail, but as I told Forth, it's like, yes, it does involve a man slapping another man, but that's as far as I'll go with it. But the context of it is very clear what they're getting at, and they turn into a good bit of humor.
Wow, we're at 582 right now.
Cool. Ooh, awesome.
All right, Alien franchise. If you have a franchise that's been around for 45 years, which is this year's the 45th anniversary of the release of the original Aliens, you're going to have some really, really, really epic stuff, and then you're going to have some really shitty stuff sometimes. I've already gone over the shitty. But I still think that the Alien franchise has transformed science fiction just as much as any other franchise has, especially the science fiction and horror genre. It just wasn't being done very well that often. I mean, you'd have occasional things like Invasion of the Body Snatchers and things like that, but for the most part, it was either one aspect of it was really done well while the other aspect wasn't, and then vice versa. When Alien came along, it was done perfectly. The original movie is a classic. I actually prefer Aliens over Alien. That's just a personal preference. Alien 3 was a complete fucking disaster of a movie. I cannot believe the person who would go on to do such great things made that movie, but I guess everybody has a bad day at the office.
Yeah, bad day at the office, yeah.
And that was an awful day at the office.
First day at the office, no less.
Yeah, so that was his debut film, so I'll give him that. If Resurrections was like people just doing the movie for money at that point. I mean, and it's a job, I understand, but there was no value to it, to the fourth Aliens movie. Then we did Aliens versus Predator, something I thought I wanted to see. And then when I saw it executed, I realized I didn't want to see that ever again. Then Requiem came around, and they just basically threw out everything and just said, we're just going to show you we're going to make this a slasher movie with aliens. And I'm glad they abandoned the AVP franchise as far as I mentioned them together. Like it was a good concept when Dark Horse first did it. back in 88, 89, and 90 when Dark Horse Presents first came out, and they were the first ones to tell that story, and it was done well in the comic. But not everything that was that comes from a comic needed to be adapted, and I don't think there was anything that they could have done to really make that movie worth anything other than follow exactly what the story that Dark Horse Presents put out. They went on their own thing with the Mayan temples and shit. It was like then that alien queen just chasing everybody like she, you know, was a bionic alien or something. It just wasn't a good movie. And like I said, Requiem was like one of those ones that I hope that the franchise does not recognize. After that, we got Prometheus, which I liked. If Ridley Scott tells me there's more to it, not his director's cut, but I'm talking about more of an actual story to what he's presented, I want to see it. And I thought that Prometheus was amazing. I thought Covenant went back towards you know, the traditional alien story without giving you much more of the lore, but David was still there. And I hope I got a feeling that Romulus, we're going to see David. If I had to do it over and under, I would go over that we're going to see David. And if you see David, then that is a direct connection to Romulus.
One, also you mentioned the other night too. I mean, you know, as far as like the you know, most recent Alien movies, like we have one that's called Prometheus, and another one's, you know, has Romulus in the title, so that's also kind of like implying some kind of connection between them.
Yeah, and there he is right there. Michael Fassbender is quietly one of the best actors in the last maybe 25, 30 years. Whoever he plays, you believe it. You believe it. There's not a role that Michael Fassbender has played where I'm not drawn in and drawn into either loving or hating whoever he's supposed to be. Usually it's hating him. 12 Years a Slave, I wanted to choke that motherfucker.
Oh, yeah.
Because he made me believe, you know, and Michael, I wanted I can't believe, don't do that. And then Mac, you know, everything he's in, he is so believable. And I don't think we've seen the last of him. I really don't. The design of the creature, obviously, H.R. Geiger was the guy who did the concept artwork for that. I had a book that I sold earlier that had all of this artwork in it, the original Alien, the biomechanic, everything about this. But everything was being explored in Prometheus, and I really, really wanted to see how that ends. I also want to see the species that they run into to become what we know as a xenomorph. Because if you look at Prometheus and if you look at Aliens, they had to have encountered a hive-type species, in my opinion, because what David is doing is not enough. His little experiments that he was doing the last time you see him wasn't enough. They adapted to whatever they encountered. So I want to see, personally, if there was a species, a benevolent species that had a queen, that had drones, that wasn't, you know, the homicidal ant farm that we would see in the end. Because remember, in Prometheus, it hatched from a human. You know, it had the original facehugger, but there was no eggs. It hatched outright from his ass. You know how, and then so I want to see the species that they ran into that lays eggs and does all that, because they never quite specify. And I watched it over to see what David does, because remember, he was experimenting with them towards the end there, but they never really, you know, let you know. And so I need to see the end of that story, even if it's folded up in Romulus. I think it has to be. But yeah, obviously, I wanted to see the Blomkamp one, but you know,
yeah, that still bums me out that didn't get off the ground.
Why? What happened with that?
I don't think we've had like a official explanation. It's like, but you know, just at one point he was going to be doing. It was going to be, I don't know if it was going to be called Alien 5, but it was going to be like the 5th Alien movie, and it was going to be a direct sequel to Aliens, and you know, basically retconning 3 and Resurrection. So, you know, Newton Hicks would be alive, which again, that's retconning one of the worst decisions made in the franchise.
That's Earthwar. That's basically what Earthwar was.
But then it's just that it got announced, and then, you know, some time passed, and somebody asked him directly on Twitter, what are the chances of this still happening? He said slim, and just for whatever reason, it just kind of faded away. And then I think it might have been also the fact that that the Alien Covenant was in the works at the time, so maybe Fox kind of, and now William, of course, would not appreciate this mentality, but maybe they just decided, we didn't want to, compete with ourselves or what have you.
Well, that's not even competing. That's just going, because if Blomkamp does that, that changes. You don't get Covenant, you don't get Prometheus, really.
Yeah.
Because if you're going to go on that route, you're making a through line from what Prometheus is all the way through. So you're basically telling a different story. So it would have had to been one or the other. It would have had to been what he's doing. Especially if Romulus ends up tying into Covenant and Prometheus.
Yeah.
Then that would eliminate. There would be no space. There would be no timeline for him to tell that story. So that's probably what happened. It was up to Ridley Scott. They've left all this up to him. Even if he's not directing, he's still the executive producer. They look to him, because if he comes out and says, "Who did you?" That's the director for that. That guy's rubbish. Then that guy's already fucked before his movie gets out. And Ridley Scott still has that kind of sway, even though he doesn't make really good movies anymore.
Yeah. We're hoping about this one, obviously, and with Gladiator 2.
Gladiator 2. I mean, I just need. I can't see House of Gucci again.
and the fact, I mean, the dude is going to be 89 or 88 or something like that. By the time Gladiator 2 comes out, it's like, just if you're still doing what he's doing at that advanced of an age, it's like I hope to not only make it that far, but still have that kind of energy and that kind of vitality and drive and tenacity by that point, because it's like, my God, he is laughing at the word retirement.
Well, he's one of those guys that's probably going to drop dead doing it. And I'm not saying it's going to be anytime soon, but when you're doing something you love, it's not work, and you don't want to stop doing it. As long as you can still draw breath, you still want to be doing it. And it's a testament to his love. Him and Coppola, Clint Eastwood. All these guys who, that is who they are. There is no stopping. That is who they are. And I can appreciate that. Yeah. So what else on the Alien franchise? Like I said, I'm really excited about.
And that trailer was great. We did the trailer watch for Romulus a few nights ago. That was a great trailer. I am very, very eager to see this. It's basically going to be like the kind of the closing act of this summer. So,
oh my gosh!
Oh yeah, I hated that guy in Resurrection.
God, that was so awful.
Well, see, Resurrection does have the coolest idea, I think, in Resurrection. And I haven't seen Resurrection in a really long time, but I think the coolest idea it had is the idea of, like, not only just cloning Ripley after she dies in Alien 3, but also the idea of, you bring her back, but now she's kind of like, she's got characteristics of the xenomorphs. Like she's kind of brought back as like this human xenomorph hybrid.
That was so bad. Here's the xenomorph, or the very first one that came from the engineer.
Yeah,
it just hatched right out of him. Yeah, it hatched right out of him. And then there's the one from Covenant, and that's when you start to see the form. But even this was like, the way this one came about was different than, like I said, at some point they had to have encountered, or he had to have brought them to a world where the cycle of life, because that's what they adopted. That's what they would become. Unless they're saying that he did all that engineering, and if so, tell that story. Obviously one of the most iconic
space jockey.
Yeah, I actually had this toy. Todd McFarlane made this toy.
Todd McFarlane, as everybody would assume.
And here's the original concept drawings of it. And as you can see, the chest burster busted out of his chest. And that's the original concept drawing right there.
By the way, I'm sure everybody's finding it hilarious. My head is right next to Joss Whedon's right now, and I have absolutely nothing but contempt for the man.
I still respect his worth, even if his work, even if him, I can't condone his conduct.
I'm at least gonna flip him off right now. This is the closest I'll ever get to doing that. So there you go, Joss. That's for you.
But yeah, there's just a lot of and then there's Prometheus and just a lot of the lore that they touched on in Prometheus. I really want a continuation of that. And then there's David experimenting with things, and
I think that's right. That shot is right from the end of Covenant when he puts her in cryostasis, which that's a great cliffhanger. That's why I'm really hoping that we that Romulus like somehow like there's some kind of connective tissue that we see what's happened in the interim with that. But yeah,
because Prometheus takes place. Prometheus and Covenant take place before any of this, so to me it just lines right up. So like I said, the design, some of the stuff, like I said, it's just the face huggers in this new one look just outright.
Oh yeah, and they got one sequence where a guy is trying to run away from one when in a room that's flooded. So
yeah, and
I don't think you've seen that yet. Yeah.
Yeah, here we go. These are the nastiest fucking things that you ever. This would horrify me. These things are more horrifying than the actual full-grown xenomorph, especially if you don't like spiders.
I don't.
And acid for blood, and the fact that they've gotten worse as they look at that, the little thing that sticks down your throat. Yeah. It's gotten worse as they've gotten nastier looking as the franchise has gone on, and now they can just do all kinds of crazy shit. There's one in the flask. You can actually buy these. You can actually buy them with them in the flask like that. And I will never forget.
Oh, did any of them like come to life and like startle people? That'd be so cool.
Yeah. The scene in Aliens. There you go. There's one. The scene in there you go. The scene in Aliens where Briggs, he traps him in there.
Oh, when Ripley and Newt are stuck in the one
infirmary room, get him impregnated. Oh my goodness, that was that movie. Oh, I mean, William, do you think there's a progenitor to the space jockey? If so, what do you think it is? Yeah, well, they showed them. They showed them at the beginning when they were doing something with the water, which I still want to know what they were doing, because my theory is this. And Ridley Scott alluded to Earth, them being the ones that seeded life in the galaxy, but he actually referenced something to where they saw what mankind did in ancient times to each other, crucifixions and everything else, and they basically made a judgment that mankind was too barbaric to exist, and that the entire experiment was being canceled, and that's why the ooze and all that stuff. It was meant to turn half of that society into monsteristic things that would eat the other half and eliminate their problem. And it would adapt to each species that it was laid on. And that's why when you had those ships were there to carry out that, the end of the experiment, but it was only half of them. Half of the engineers wanted to continue the experiment and the other half didn't. And I think that's where Prometheus was headed. To the point where, and I think that person, that one that you see at the beginning of Prometheus, where
the translucent Mr. Clean dude.
Yeah, I think he was putting something in Earth's atmosphere and water to protect them from being exterminated. But there's too many holes. I mean, there's just nowhere to, I want them to finish telling some of that story.
Well, I mean, like that theory there too. I mean, like the whole Prometheus is a reference to the stealing fire from the gods. So that could lend credence to what you're saying there. The idea that some of the engineers are on our side.
Yeah, the face huggers are just completely. How you doing, Antonio? Yeah, face hugger plushies are cool, and you can have the little spring to where they clamp onto your face. I just don't like looking at them.
How's it going, Phil? You're talking about like having Joss next to my head there. See, I wasn't playing.
Now you have a face hugger. Where would you rank if you had to rank from first to last the Alien franchise?
The whole franchise.
Mm.
Yeah, Aliens is definitely my number one, and then after that, I think most people would probably it's either gonna be Alien or Aliens is their number
Yeah.
one, and the other one's gonna be their number two. So yeah, I definitely would fall into that. I would say like going. I'm gonna go like from weakest to number one. Probably. I would probably say. I'd probably say Resurrection is lowest for me. I would probably put the first ABP next. I actually do like Requiem a little bit more, so I'll put that above that. Then I would say Prometheus, then Covenant, then and then Alien, and then Aliens. Oh wait, no, I forgot to put Alien 3 in there. So Alien 3 goes above. That goes above Requiem for me. I would say.
Okay, so I start with Resurrections. Alien 3. I'm going from worst. Alien 3. AVP. Requiem. Covenant, Prometheus, Alien, and Aliens. So very similar to yours, but I switched around the bottom one because
well, like I said, it's like I think like 9.9 out of 10 fans of the franchise. I mean, all just about everybody will pick either the first or the second as their number one, and even then, even when they do like the one that isn't first is going to be their number two. I mean, it's almost universally agreed that the first two are the best.
It's like Godfather 1 and 2. You can kind of flip them. I agree here, but I still believe that there's something more to the story to be told that we're missing. That's rational. Alien, Prometheus, and Alien 3 are the only ones that truly matter.
You're talking about in terms of ranking or what?
In terms of ranking or in terms of relevance? I mean, yeah. I mean, I guess I'm not a big fan of Alien 3. I thought it was
clearly. He's saying very clear.
Yeah, it's just not a big fan of it. It's just preferential though. So.
But yeah, so you have to go through because I'd forgotten Alien 3, but so I would rank going back through mine. I'll put it Resurrection, AVP, Requiem, 3, Covenant, Prometheus, Alien, Aliens.
They were benevolent, but they were beyond good and evil. I think they saw their experience becoming the disaster that mankind is, and one half of them wanted to wipe out the experiment while the other half did not. And that's why I think something happens to cause those ships to crash with the cargo on it that is meant to wipe out their experiments.
It's rational. Also asks, how was Dave able to speak Enger's language of Prometheus?
You probably kind of like the universal translator. It uses certain functions and frequencies. Since he's a machine, he used certain functions and frequencies and sounds to basically discern and patterns. Basically, when they're doing something like that, there's certain patterns and reactions to communication that he could gather enough to recite those back and get to a point where he could have a conversation or at least understand. He wouldn't be perfect, but it would be enough to where he would be able to get the gist of the conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah, they made a few, quite a few.
William. Sorry. William the Angels created humans. Does that mean alien universe evolution from apes to man never happened?
It all depends on where that evolution starts, though. Well, I mean, there's nothing in any of them that said they didn't start with the evolution that they didn't start with an ape-like creature. Just because they're at a certain point of evolution, they may have seeded life or adjusted life that was already there. We never saw what they created because there's just not enough story there. That's what I want. That's why I want more of this so that I can see what they created. They could have been the beginning spark to that evolution. And like I said, all they would have to do is look at us and be like, these are a bunch of savages. We need to just go ahead and, it's kind of like the day the Earth stood still, where the alien visited us because he sees what kind of savages and nuclear beasts that we've become. and basically says you guys need to stay on your damn planet. Whereas, you know, a race like the engineers would have seen us as a bunch of savages that fed on each other and basically killed each other, and they wouldn't. That's an experiment gone wrong in their opinion. That's my theory. But like I said, I just don't have enough to go that one step further, and I'm hoping they give it to me sooner than later.
Do you think there's any, because I was asking, we want to play the trailer again, because you think there might be any clues to any of this in the trailer?
We can play the trailer.
Okay, I'll go pull the trailer again. And by the way, we hit a 589 now in the subscriber count, so we're getting close to 600 now.
Oh, where are we at?
589.
Oh, wow. A lot of the people are still responding to her call.
Yeah,
wow.
and she sent us like a huge influx that one night of viewers.
Yeah.
So we had like 150 like viewers all of a sudden that we hadn't had before. So that was really
like I said, they were all on X, but it was like, dude, let's bring those people over, and that's what she did today. So,
all right, I'm gonna play the trailer again and see if we got any clues about links to Prometheus or what have you. Here we go.
Is this really where you want to spend the rest of your life?
You know I don't.
Oh God, that's a beautiful shot there. The rings on that planet.
Then this is our only ticket out of here.
What's happening?
There's something in the water.
What do you mean there's something in the
I don't know.
water?
There's just something in the fucking water.
Yeah, this is probably gonna be one of the scariest ones for me. Is the Dave Sucker on the water.
Fucking thing's hunting us.
Open the door, come on.
Run.
Are you sure you want to do this?
there's really nothing in there that gives you any clue.
Yeah. Yeah. So, well, I mean, I get like in terms of like the visual, in terms of references to other things, like I see a lot of visual cues that sort of harken back to the first two. I mean, like the part where she's under like the grate, he's crawling away, and one it pulls up. I mean, that's obviously aliens. And even right at the end there, it takes place between the first two, but even right at the end when she's kind of pinned up against the wall by the one xenomorph, that kind of seems like a nod to Alien 3 to me. So they are playing pretty close to the vest. So I don't know if I see anything that really alludes to the engineers in the trailer at all. But
I think that's something that they would hide, and I think if David is in this, they would or something, some form of David is in this, because he would have been. This is further along the line for him, so he would have been around for a long time. He would have had to stay hidden, and he would probably be, he would probably have worked his way back into the way you come. There's a lot of story to tell. Like I said, it's just a matter of sequence is what I'm looking for. The word I'm looking at. Where does all this fall in? I know where this falls in the timeline, but are we still being loyal to the stuff that Prometheus gave us? And I just got a feeling that they are.
And well, August 16th, which really means August 15th, as far as because that's when I plan to drop in on it. But I'm sure you're gonna be sending people to see it.
Yeah.
Are you gonna try to actually make this one when you send them to it?
I think I'm gonna make this one.
Okay.
I got plenty enough time to open up the schedule. The And Game of Thrones will be over by then, so I'll have that extra
Yeah.
day during the week. The what's this? That's going to be a good 15 days in August because you have that, and then you have Terminator Zero happening
Yeah.
15 days later or so.
Yeah, speaking of that kind of yeah, I'm sure you've got some of these in the store there. But what were your thoughts on when they had an Alien versus Predator versus Terminator crossover? Because they played a lot with that. Like in the when I was a kid in the 90s, they crossed through. They were AVP, but then also they brought in Terminator. They brought in RoboCop. They just like 80s sci-fi. They just mashed it together a lot in Dark Horse Comics. What were your thoughts? Like
It was Dark Horse, and it was a company called Now Comics that acquired the rights to Terminator, that did the Terminator and RoboCop thing. They were really bad. They were really bad.
Because I've read a few of them. I read all of them.
Yeah, it got to the point where you understood almost immediately that this wasn't going to work.
Well, with RoboCop specifically, they tried to they create the idea that RoboCop was the technology for him ended up being like the basis for Skynet.
Yeah, which was already it was. They now Comics put those out. That's literally the name of the company, and they just weren't very good at it. It was just a cash grab at the time because all those IPs were hot at the time, especially Terminator coming off of Terminator Judgment Day. And RoboCop has just had a few years earlier it had its RoboCop. Yeah, it was just there's just stories and they really didn't. It was just a novelty of putting these things together. It didn't matter if the story was good and the story was wretched. So yeah, I don't have any of those in the store, by the way.
Okay. No. Yeah, because I remember those getting some traction.
I remember them.
Yeah, but that's interesting that with that and the new Alien and Terminator kind of coming a little bit in close proximity. Not that I'm saying they're trying to cross these two iterations over, but just it's kind of made my mind drift there.
Well, you have the 40th anniversary of one and the 45th anniversary of the other that take place this year, so that's why those projects are happening. Why aren't they not making more films about the engineers? I think a lot of it is Alien fans just didn't want to comprehend all that without the horror element. To Ridley Scott, the horror element was part of it. It wasn't the whole of it. But I don't think Aliens fans ever wanted to understand what went beyond and before all that. To them, they just want the monster killing people, and that's it. And I think that's the way audiences responded. But and that's why Covenant was not supposed to be as gory as it ended up being. Covenant ended up being a throwback movie, but he's not telling a throwback story like that. He's telling a historical, mythological story. But producers and everybody got involved and people want the old Alien type stuff back. But what we see in Alien is so limited that, it's kind of sad that that's what all people want to see sometimes. He has an entire story to tell you. I'd rather let him tell me the story than just focus on one aspect of it. But that's what happened. A lot of the people were kind of scared. The people who front these things, they went the safe route.
I understand. Well, do you think this kind of might be the one among the most recent installments of the Alien franchise? This might be the one because it's set between the first two, but also the title alludes to like some kind of lineage with Prometheus. This might be the one that's kind of like threading that needle in terms of what Prometheus establishes and kind of the horror elements of just having the xenomorph kind of go on the rampage.
I can only hope, but like I said, it would probably be something that happens towards the end that would unite them. I hope they do it. It's there for them to do it, and it makes all the sense in the world. But once again, you have to. There's a happy compromise though, because you're still giving people the base horror stuff. But if they do add that in there, then they're giving people, the actual story behind the alien. Because I wanted to know where they came from. I want to know where the engineers came from. I want to know where all that stuff came from, and that's the story he started in Prometheus. I want to see the end of that story, and I think you can do it by overlapping it, because like I said, some alien fans just want to see the basic surface stuff. They don't want to go beneath the surface. I'm the other side of that coin. I want to see it all. So.
Well, Aaron, I confirm this is not a story William wants to see finished. So no, I don't think.
I think both of those franchises were harmed by that. I think that really, I think both those franchises, perception wise and storyline wise, I think they both made decent amount of money. But if you look at the narratively, that's something I hope I never see again.
It's like never ever take another shot AVP. Really? You think?
No, I mean, it was an idea that looked good on paper, and then it did not look good when they put camera to Ashton. So
See, the thing about that is, I mean, 'cause AVP, I think, kind of at a base level, it's kind of what you're talking about, where it's like it's sort of the basis of it really is the kind of the sort of the lowest common denominator of like just let's get these monsters together and just have them just go at each other. It's not really, but it's not really. It's not a wing of either franchise that's really sort of about like exploring like the origins of these characters or about like the kind of like their larger universe. It's like we got two monsters on either side. It's like, let's just have them go at it, and it's not like inherently a bad thing by any means. But it's I think that's kind of maybe that's maybe what you're kind of you're getting like the inherently this game like the basic alien and predator just killing people or killing each other sort of side of it with AVP, but it's not really, and pardon the pun, engineered to really investigate like some of the other aspects of it that William's talking about with Prometheus and whatnot.
I just rather of them do that. If you're going to explore the predators backstory and all that, do it exclusively on a predator story, and then same thing with aliens. I don't need them to ever marry up again. So
yeah, I think probably if there was a real drive for it too, we might have we probably would see. I think they did at one point want to do like a third one, but I think once Predators and then Prometheus got off the ground, they kind of said, yeah, let's just keep these guys, let them go their own way for the time being. So
and I think the revenues declined. I think they made decent money, but I don't think they made.
Yeah, they did not bad, but they didn't light the world on fire. AVP and AVP Requiem.
Let me see. Alien.
One of the premises, yeah, pretty much, yeah. Kind of like RoboCop.
They actually did. They did our IV. Oh, well, Requiem did a $40 million budget, which I don't believe, and made 130, which is.
You think it costs more?
Yeah, I think that costs way. There's no way you could have done those effects even for that time. But you know what? That's fine. Let's see. It's science fiction film. Let's see, Alien versus Predator, which is I saw that before I deployed. That did 70, did 170. They didn't do great, but they didn't lose money. But it didn't break any financial ground to say we got to do another one.
Well, like Prometheus did 400, didn't it? So that definitely would tell them, yeah, let's keep going down this road. But then Covenant kind of underperformed that. But and that's the thing. Both these franchises they're in this constant like kind of seesaw.
Prometheus made a lot of money.
Second.
Prometheus made the kind of money that should have gotten you another one.
I get, yeah, but I'm saying is that then Covenant came out that did like half of what Prometheus did, and yeah, both these franchises they tend to be like they really have their ups and downs a lot, financially and reception wise. So, and then of course we're recently with Predator just seeing it like really just bounce back with a Prey on a Hulu, and Romulus is really going to be on Hulu, and now they decided to put it out theatrically. So, we're all hoping. I'm certainly hoping that Romulus is really brings a lot more new energy to the Alien franchise. Because Prey, man, I think that might be better than the original Prey. I think that might have surpassed the original Predator. So we'll see.
For me personally, I'm not ready to go that far with it. I think it's up there. Covenant actually made a crap ton of money too. Not as much as Prometheus did, but he made these movies on the cheap. Let's see. William, do you think? I hope not.
Well, the thing about it, there's so much time travel and retconning in Terminator anyway. I mean, it's like canon is kind of a relative term.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a big fan personally of Genesis, and I thought Dark Fate was doomed, and I didn't like Salvation. I don't like any of those post 3.0, and that's just me.
First Predator had Arnold. That makes it number one. Yes, do it.
Well,
do it.
it was
do
a
me.
new concept too.
Yeah.
Okie dokie. Let's go
Yeah.
on to.
Yeah, I think that's our alien talk for the evening, guys. So we'll definitely be
If
revisiting.
you guys
this.
have something to add, do you guys got anything to add?
Yeah, anything else? Yeah. But we'll definitely be, of course, come back to it. And,
I was the conversation started. I don't need to be the ender. You guys can chime in here.
Well, you were saying let's like let's head forward. So I'm saying.
Well, I'm
But,
looking to see if there's anybody. Anybody got any alien comments, thoughts that we didn't?
Well, actually, I got one. I'll go ahead and say this because that's with the Blomkamp one that never got made. Oh, well, okay. This kind of plays into what I'm about to say.
We're at 594. Wow.
Yeah. William Rumors of Spring River cameo and Raylan Ramos. Your thoughts? Yeah, and I was about to say that that's one of the things that kind of bummed me out on the Blomkamp one, because I mean, Hicks and Newt returning, but also it's like, because Resurrection didn't like really end it that great for Ripley, I thought. So I was kind of looking forward to like one last rodeo with her, and then of course that didn't end up panning out, and then she almost ended up. This is how crazy those alternate endings for the Predator were, because I mean it was at one point it was going to be like a cryo freezer for Newt, and another one was going to be Ripley. It wouldn't have featured them like on camera, but it would have like had their name like on a tag on the outside of it. So now there's this, which
what was that going to be part of?
Second,
what was that going to be part of?
The Predator. That was one of the alternate endings. That ending was so DOA because you could.
Oh, I'm glad they didn't do that, because that would have just made it worse. I don't want to see these franchises together ever again. When it comes to Sigourney Weaver, I could see her in it because it makes sense that she might be in it.
Let's see.
Even if it's just you seeing her ship. You just seeing her ship.
1 and 2, and of course they don't say like where.
Right now, while this is happening, why this? Oh, well, they say it's 20 years before or 20 years after Alien. Yeah, so she's in the middle of her cryo sleep, so you could see her at the end of it.
Yeah, they could have a time jump, and then like right when they thaw her out.
Yeah, so you could, and that would lead right into, and you can still show your story. There's just so much that they've kept under the lid that it's going to be a surprise to see.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. Tralians, Jesus Christ.
Trollians.
What in the hell? Okay, so we're at right now. All right.
As I think you owe the radio. Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah, we're at 594. We're 6 away from 600.
And that's like almost like 150 subs we've gotten in like less than like 12 hours. So
yeah, I'm wondering when they're gonna send me my little thing saying, "Hey, William, you qualify."
Yeah, well, you said you wanted to get to this mark before Comic-Con. Yeah, so we beat that like like 6 weeks. But who knows where it'll be sitting by the time you're in San Diego.
Yeah, I know. We could easily be at 700. It'd be cool to be at 1,000, but that just gives you part of the ad revenue, and it's not a lot. But the super chats and stuff like that, the way the channel can be supported by that's a lot easier than the frequency of AdSense. Because we get a lot of people. And plus, like I said, the Streamlabs thing's getting on my nerves. That can be easily meddled with, and I'm dealing with that right now to the point where you can't always trust it. Whereas the super chat function it's you. There's no kickbacks to that one. So let me look. I don't think it did.
Fun says Alien Resurrection pretty good. All right, man. You're betting man. I just wasn't that blown away by it. It got a little bit cartoony for me, unfortunately.
Which one did you say?
Alien Resurrection.
Oh, and you had an awesome cast for that too. That's a damn shame. As you had, that's like a Winona Ryder, Ron Perlman, Sigourney Weaver.
That was pre Hellboy, Ron Perlman. So.
That was Beauty and the Beast. Ron Perlman, man.
Yeah.
I mean, you Sigourney Weaver. Nope, the apply button has not lit up yet, so I think they got to do some more verification. So nope, not yet. No. Well, but if you like it fun, then I'm glad you had. Especially that alien. That
Chappie's very much an advocate of Alien 3, the assembly cut.
Yeah, it needs to be disassembled. All right, the next topic is gonna be the Incredible Hulk, not just a comic, because as a kid, Friday night, Bill Bixby, may he rest in peace, died all too young. Bill Bixby. This is one of the most prized things that I have that I own. Period. This is Bill Bixby. I've told you guys about this story before. My mom was a flight attendant for Continental Airlines for 25 years, and he was sitting in first class, and she asked if she could get a picture autograph for me, and he pulled one out, and I guess she didn't give him my name or whatever, and he read her name on the badge, and it says, "Dear Sharon, Merry Christmas and many thanks." This was in like the year, I think 1991, 92, right before he passed away. So I can't get this again. So this is one of those cool things. It's like, it's different when it's like a picture of Stan Lee that I have, because I have that on digits everywhere. This is an actually autograph. He will not be doing any more signings. I mean, he's been dead for quite a while now. But this to me was the incredible. This was called him David Banner because his full name when in the comics is David Bruce Banner. But this was my introduction to the Hulk. Friday nights, 8:00. Yeah, and that sad, and there was never a happy ending with the guy.
Yeah. It was a very tragic show.
Yeah, the theme song that they played was "A Lonely Man" by Joseph Hornell.
And they brought that back a little bit in the Incredible Hulk in 2008. They brought that's how iconic that theme is.
Yeah, let me bring this up because I think I can bring this up without getting kicked off.
Oh, the intro? Oh, the intro of the show was awesome. Because I also, when I was a kid, they used to show reruns of the Hulk show when I was growing up. So that was pretty much my intro to the Hulk when I was like 5-6 years old. I think the first one I saw wasn't even the show. It was one of like the movies they did. I think it actually might have been the Death of the Incredible Hulk, where he's fighting some dudes and up in an airplane.
And he falls off the airplane.
Yeah, and dies. It's like,
but we have to free you. I'm free. I'm like, oh, okay, that was bad. All right, here we go.
And also the Trial of the Incredible Hulk. That was actually the first Stan Lee cameo.
Yep, and Daredevil.
Yeah.
Hold on for a second. I'm in my other account where I don't have.
And by the way, a little bit of history of that too. Lou Ferrigno, he almost was not the Hulk on the show because of course they were obviously they're trying to get bodybuilders for it. They did look at Arnold Schwarzenegger at one point, but initially they cast a guy named Richard Kiel, who you guys probably a lot of you would know him best as the Happy Gilmore's boss. And Happy Gilmore, the guy who gets the nail in the head and then becomes his biggest fan, is like takes out Shooter McGavin. So that he initially was casting. He was really tall, but he wasn't really like as brawny as Lou Ferrigno, because Lou Ferrigno was a bodybuilding champion. So they decided, we're
by the way,
go back.
That is your only Happy Gilmore reference that you. So
I'm just
that was on your bingo card. If that was on your bingo card, it wasn't because of me.
But they ended up going back to Lou Ferrigno, and there's one shot in the original pilots when he's looking up at a tree when he's going to save the girl at the lake. In the original pilot, that's the one shot that's still there of a Richard Kiel as the Hulk. It's mute. About the show, the transformation scenes were always, they never had a bad Hulk transformation scene on the show. They never had a bad Hulk out.
Nah, they did it. The stagecraft that they used for 1979 when this was done. And then where's the intro? Yeah, this is every episode, man. This is probably get copyrighted for this. Well, maybe not.
No, you can't blame Brad this time.
Let's see. After every episode, he'd have to move on because his cover would be blown.
And he designed, he didn't have an Avengers membership card, so he was on his own all the time.
And he was just always alone. It was just like, man, every episode, it was like, dude. And then when you see the death of the Incredible Hulk, when he's finally free, You know, because remember they were trying to separate the Hulk from him during that really bad TV movie. But you know what, guys, that's all we had back then. Listen, go look at the Goofy Thor that was in that back when that
Viking Thor,
Thor. When that Thor came out, us comic book geeks in 1988,
we were taking what we could get.
didn't have anything. And that Thor right now, I look at that Thor right now, and I'm like, oh my god,
This is
I
like
got
bad
excited.
cosplay. This is
I
like
got excited.
this is
for
embarrassing compared. Yeah.
that Daredevil, you know,
Well,
which
no,
his costume was kind of relevant, but it wasn't the Daredevil that I would go to love. Obviously,
he eventually would be, but
yeah. But that was unrecognizable Daredevil, other than the fact that you told me it was Daredevil.
and yeah, the radar sense and yeah.
Yeah, and then the Hulk was the Hulk. But
Yeah.
Thor looked like something out of I mean, he had the fur coat and shit. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, I think they wanted to do because it ended with the death of the Incredible Hulk, but you know they wanted, of course, they had ideas to keep it going beyond that. It didn't end up panning out, but I read they'd wanted to do one point like bring in Iron Man, and of course they had the live action Spider-Man they done in the 70s.
Oh, that's Spider-Man. We showed that.
Yeah.
Listen, Nicholas Hammond is Spider-Man once again. We didn't have shit.
We took what we could get.
That Spider-Man now, when he was climbing up the walls, and when remember I showed
clearly
you
not sticking to the
he's
walls.
not even sticking. You could see the strings, and nobody gave a fuck. He had the red blasters. There was clunky, and he's doing all this shit, and then it was either that or the Electric Company one. I mean, it was bad. That's all he had.
Him like jumping from one ledge to another, just kind of casually tiptoeing up to it, then jumping. I mean,
and then they would have his hands, like when he was gliding.
Oh, there was all kinds of. There was
hands.
this. It was like, I mean, this is like his classic Spidey pose in every episode.
Oh my goodness! But that's like I said. I laugh now, but dude, we couldn't wait to see that shit when we were kids because we didn't have any of this, man. Now you got Spider-Man, you got all kinds of Spider-Man and all kinds of ways. You know, I mean, you have CGI, you have all. I am going to use this opportunity to commend people of the late 70s and early 80s for at least trying to give us that.
They were working with what they had. They were
it's kind of like the CW. I can't blame the CW people. They did the best with what they had, but you know, that was in the 70s and 80s. Me and my dad used to watch that on Friday nights, man, before Friday nights became the graveyard of TV shows. But you know, because this was like right before Dukes of Hazzard, Dallas, and all that. And then actually, the Incredible Hulk show lasted like 3 or 4 years. It's actually a pretty back in that era. You didn't get 7 years.
Yeah.
You didn't get 7 years. Like the A-Team only got 4. You know, a Knight Rider. All these shows, Battlestar Galactica. If you hear from people who watch old Battlestar Galactica, you would think that show lasted 1,000 years. It got 2 years and it was canceled. That was what Glenn A. Larson did. That it was his job not to make longevity shows, to make shows like you know, they were like batteries. As soon as you burnt them out, what do you got next for us? And that's what he did. You know, and shows like this were like that. But Bill Bixby, my favorite Martian fame. I mean, back then it was a big deal to have him as part of your show.
Yeah.
You know, but so that was the
so
that was the beginning opening for me. But obviously, historically,
yeah, it's right there next to Spider-Man.
Yeah, we have
the Gray Hulk, as he started out as.
Gray Hulk, number 1. I've always been told that the reason why we got a Gray Hulk was because this is the beginning of Marvel. This is in the early 60s. They didn't have a lot of money. Making green for a full-on page after page character was super expensive mixture of colors. If you look closely, you have green here, but it's on the bottom. But for the Hulk was going to be on every page. So I was told, I don't know how true this is, but I was always told when I was growing up, going comic store, was that he didn't turn green until they realized that the comic was going to last. And then a few issues later, but that's a myth, but that's something I grew up with learning. And you've had, for the most part, the Incredible Hulk, that series lasted forever. The best run on the actual Incredible Hulk was the Peter David run. Peter David's run lasted from like I think 314 all the way up to 350. Peter David's run included the original Incredible Hulk 348. That's when Todd McFarlane was on the Incredible Hulk. before he left to do Spider-Man. He left after Incredible Hulk 353, I think, and then he went right to Amazing Spider-Man 298. And I remember that is because he was fighting a villain called Chance. He was fighting him, and then the next episode, the next issue, he's fighting alongside them. And this was when they started to reveal Venom. This is when you started to see the hands of Venom. But prior to that, Todd McFarlane was on that, and that book was right in the middle of that run. Now we have Incredible Hulk, which this is a current series. This is the current series. It's good. But this series right here, and I should have had these sitting up here for you. I'm going to go get them. This is what I want for those of you guys who are going to jump into Incredible Hulk right now and for it not to bankrupt you. I'm going to go grab these.
Don't even have me on camera now. He's stepping away. Yeah, I'll be right back, guys. Don't worry.
All right, so the Immortal Hulk. The Immortal Hulk is a comic that lasted from issue 1 to 50. 50 they stopped doing it. These are I got a lot of them here. These are the Alex Ross covers. Each issue had a variant. So this would be the normal classic variant that harkens back to the old the Wolverine era, the introduction of Wolverine era in the 70s. And then it would have a standard cover like this. This is your standard regular variant. This storyline was basically him going up against Roxas in a lot of here's another Alex Ross cover. That was worth the wait alone just to see what kind of covers Alex Ross would do. This is paying homage to Amazing Spider-Man 328, where Spider-Man knocks he uses Captain Universe powers to knock Incredible Hulk out in outer space. The storyline in an Immortal Hulk was more of a horror story, a gross science fiction story. Here's another Alex Ross cover. And this is and these stories were great. It was basically he was going up against, it was Bruce Banner going up against just a lot of people who were doing a lot of awful experimentations and a lot of just Roxas chemical. I think it was Roxas chemical plant that was just doing. They had upped their game, and he was basically stopping all variations of things. They would employ a lot of things to get their mission achieved, and he was basically the foil for the most part. This one right here is X-Men 140. If you look at the X-Men 142, Days of Future Past, that was homage to that. But if you are ever going to get into a Hulk story that is not going to bankrupt you and that you can still get some really, I have these all for cover for the most part. That's more Alex Ross. If you're a lover of Alex Ross, this is a must series. Most of the issues are relatively cheap. The story is different from, it's not a superhero story more than it is not in the traditional sense. It's if you're into more science fiction horror, I would recommend the Immortal Hulk. Starting that, it was only 50 issues. I have most of them here. You can get the entire series in 2 trade paperbacks. Other than Peter David's arcs, it's the best Hulk stuff that they ever put out. This new series is all right. It's all right, but it's not as good as the Immortal Hulk run, in my opinion. Also, that leads you to the MCU's versions of the Incredible Hulk. That includes the movie that came before the MCU was really big, and then to me, where they ultimately failed the Hulk with the current MCU version of him being he pretty much wussified and doesn't just the whole I think once they started giving Hulk Bruce Banner's personality and Hulk's body, then it was that's where they there was a point of no return for me as far as that character goes.
Yeah. That was actually my the thing about Endgame that's like I was really looking forward to. That unfortunately that was the one of the few letdowns for me. Was like I was really hoping for like a Hulk and Thanos rematch. I thought they were gonna like punch a hole through the moon or something. That didn't
5 seasons, okay. I thought it only got 4. 5 seasons.
Yeah. I got 5 seasons. Then it had 3 movies. So it had the 5 seasons. It had the Incredible Hulk Returns. It had Trial of the Incredible Hulk, and it had the Death of the Incredible Hulk.
Yeah, it was just so sad because I was always rooting for this guy to have a better ending, and he always ends up alone. It was just like, it was like, it was written in a way that was almost like the Wolfman, and his only cure ultimately was going to be death, but you knew they were never going to kill their, they never were going to kill their main protagonist. And it was really going to be hard to kill him ultimately. Like even when they did kill him off in the TV movie, you learn just by reading the comics that the Hulk can't be killed in that manner.
Yeah. So that was the intent initially, was that this is going to be the death of the Incredible Hulk, but they had intended to do at least one more follow up after that, but ultimately it wasn't greenlit. So it ended up actually being the death of the Incredible Hulk.
It ran its course. When the last Incredible Hulk stuff happened, it was time. Yeah, it was time for you were moving into the 90s, and it was just a different type of entertainment. And even I, as somebody who grew up with that Hulk, it was time. It was time.
And by the way, I always really love also you look at a little bit like the behind the scenes process of it. Lou Ferrigno. I mean, he talking about the makeup on that. He had to. I always really like. I really like this, this, and then maybe this is going to be like a little bit less complex these days when you've got, motion capture. You can just like put the dots in someone's face and kind of just turn them into whatever you want, in a computer, with CGI and whatnot. We've seen that with like with Thanos, with Steppenwolf, with Darkseid, with Alita, with half the Andy Serkis's resume, but back then they had to do the standard makeup on a bodybuilder for the Hulk, and that's what Lou Ferrigno did. And I think he said it was like it took like 3.5 hours usually to get it on. Get the it was grease paint they put on to paint him green. Then he had to put in the eyes and on the wig and things like that. So there was 3 hours to 3.5 hours to get it on. Go film all day. Then it's like an hour to take it off. And he said like he was filming like 5 days a week on it. So he would, because he also had to stay in shape. He had to maintain the Hulk's physique. So he said every 5 days a week he would do film as the Hulk, get the makeup off, go to the gym, train for an hour, go home and crash. So
yeah. To give you guys a premise of what I just gave you, Al Ewing is who did the Immortal Hulk. Just great run. Al Ewing's acclaimed run delves deeply into Peter David's dissociative identity disorder, which is a premise for his run, with an enhanced supernatural aspect. Bruce Banner can be killed during the day, but Immortal Hulk will resurrect at night and take vengeance. It was such a great story, guys. So like I said, those are still relatively cheap for you to get. If you wanted a starting point there, you could start there and go back from there. So there we go. All right, let's hit the chat again, and then we'll hit our final topic, which is House of the Dragon prep. And I just can't wait. House of the Dragon.
Of course, anytime we're talking about the Hulk in any kind of context of the MCU, of course, comes back to Mr. Ed Norton. Yeah, I really feel his portrayal of Bruce Banner was very underrated, and obviously his, him not continuing that really boils down to the falling out he had with Marvel Studios. So, it's and the thing about it is like Mark Ruffalo, he started off really strong in the Avengers. But just like as it
Yeah,
went up,
they just took. They made he wasn't him. They made different decisions doing that because Mark Ruffalo did what they wanted him to do, but the whole let's have a taco Hulk. Oh,
yeah,
oh.
yeah. Well, but he started off great in the Avengers. I mean, he's like,
Yeah, I'm always angry. I love that scene.
Oh yeah, it's a great
where
moment.
he's like,
Yeah,
let me handle this. And she's like, ask him, how are you going to get angry? And he's like, he
I'm
turns
always
around,
angry.
I'm always angry.
Always
He
angry
turns
and just
into the Hulk
morphs, and the audience lost it
right as that big snake
as the
looking whatever
Chitauri
thing comes and just
puts his
punches
fist
it
in.
and accordions it, and then he just takes over the movie.
Yeah, pretty much.
He fucks everybody up, and when he does the Loki my crowd busted up laughing. He's like,
Oh yeah,
you can't disrespect me. I'm a god, you beast, and he just
pop.
and then screams at him. But yeah,
Beauty
but
God.
the whole saving Iron Man from falling into everything. Like I said, the Hulk. That's why I love that movie. Hulk.
Yeah.
Avengers 2012 was just a perfect interpretation of those characters, and like I said, in the Hulk, that was probably the best. That was probably the best of the Hulk movie because I didn't like him in Age of Ultron, and then once we started getting in deep into Infinity Saga, where he became wussified Hulk, I just didn't. That's it. That's it. So I don't think it was Mark Ruffalo was good.
Yeah. And the less said about She-Hulk, the better.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, you could have done a good She-Hulk thing, but they chose the John Byrne route.
Well, I'm not even like saying that with that, not even strictly the show, but also about his role on it too.
Yeah, that was that same. Although I thought she was funny. The very first episode where he's trying to get her to turn into when she's like, "What are you just gonna kill me?" and then she turned into. After that, it just got flat, and then Daredevil, the whole walk of shame. Daredevil was.
Yeah. But the Incredible Hulk. I think that's the MCU's most underrated movie is the Incredible Hulk. And
I never considered MCU. And it is, but I just never get the feeling that it's MCU. It just doesn't feel like it is.
Well, I mean, that was only the second one, so it's when they were still kind of finding their identity too.
Because they really didn't. I mean, he's in it, and obviously the connection is there, but it just doesn't feel like it. I guess I don't know, but it is. Obviously, it is. I just never got that. Tight fit,
and actually, probably we should mention since we're talking about like all the different iterations of the whole, comics, TV, and movies. What about the Ang Lee movie?
Wasn't a fan.
Yeah, I like it, but I get where people are coming from.
Hey, we're at 600 subscribers. Wow.
Oh, we are awesome.
That escalated. Real fucking quick. Thank you, everybody.
We got 158 subscribers in a matter of hours. Thank you very much, everybody who's come aboard the Sci-Fi Center train. And yes, please continue subscribing and coming aboard. More the merrier. Yeah, going back to I like it. I actually kind of liken it to like the Marvel movie, even though it's not Marvel Studios because we're I liken it. It's like Marvel's equivalent to Batman Returns. I actually did an article about this about like a year or two ago, talking about that because
that's not an endorsement for me, but yeah. Okay.
No, that's where I say it's like I like it.
Oh,
I get it,
as an individual movie, it wased bad.
Yeah, I get it though because it's very it's a very first of all it's very surreal. It's very there's a lot of stuff they do with the Hulk in it that's really is kind of a. I mean, it is like even though Elseworlds is more applicable to DC, it's like it is an Elseworlds story. It is it is a it's very little.
He's got an Oscar.
The second.
He's got an Oscar.
Who? Eric Bana?
No, Ang Lee for Life of Pi.
Yeah. And for Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, yeah.
Never understood.
Yeah, so I get it. I get where people are coming from when they say it. And part of it's also they felt like it was like it took too long to get to the Hulk smashing stuff. It's like I understand.
Oh, and there's some bullshit in there when he throws that tank, and I'm like, okay. We're you guys get out. Like I said, I will never forget being in the theater and watching that when he tosses that tank across the desert. And these fools get out, and they're like, "Wow, aren't we lucky to be alive?" I'm like, "No, because you're not. Your ghosts got out of that fucking tank, not you." Because you ever been in a tank? Any of you military people, Marine or Army, have ever been in the tank? You got this much space,
yeah,
and a whole bunch of hardware around you that just hitting a dune could fuck you up. And you just got tossed by a big thing.
About like a 3 football fields there.
Yeah, and they're like, "Whoa, wow, aren't we lucky?" That's like Zod, still looking for Zod to be alive after Superman 2. Wow, that was a nasty fall, but I made it without my
I
powers.
felt like my crushed hand and like falling into like sub-zero Arctic waters.
Yeah, and there's that's that truck driver. That truck driver can take me getting hit by Kryptonian me. I use my superhuman strength to settle a debt that yeah. So yeah,
Yeah.
but no, I wasn't. Ang Lee is hit or miss with me. He just makes movies that I'm just not interested in. I mean,
Yeah.
he does, and I'm not. That's not a knock against his quality. He just makes movies that I'm like that are in categories that I'm like,
I get it. Well, it's like I said, it's one of those ones that falls under. It's like I like it. I perfectly understand why other people don't. And you can see also like when the way the Incredible Hulk starts, that you could tell it was definitely initially conceived as a sequel because he's is hiding out in South America and things like that.
Even though
So
they
it's like,
label that a reboot, it's really not. It's just reimagined. It's one's MCU, and that's the exact same design. I mean, they basically use the exact same design, and they incorporated it into the MCU because remember they were telling an Avengers story, and you can't tell an Avengers origin story without the Hulk. Hell, you don't even tell the Ultimate Avengers that one. So yeah, it just has we looked at a lot of people look at that Ang Lee movie in retrospect because it's not part of the MCU, and that's why.
yeah. It's kind of what I that's why I like in the Batman Returns, where it's like Batman. But I think the Hulk is the better of the two. But Batman Returns. It's like the thing about it is it's a Tim Burton movie far more so than it's a Batman movie, and the Ang Lee Hulk it's probably much more so an Ang Lee movie, that is like a straight up Hulk movie. But so you got a little bit of like a it's removed enough from the source material where it's definitely going to be love it or hate it for fans of the character and the source material. So it's one where I say I like it. I perfectly get it though if you don't. I perfectly do.
What was I gonna say? Oh, so bringing up this one. If you, I don't know, Kasali, if you haven't read, I don't know if you've read Immortal Hulk, but they dive into a lot of his. There's a lot of ugly stuff in there because he has these mental issues because of the abuse he had as he was bringing up. The Hulk, the chemical, the radioactive thing that turned him into the physical monster also was the direct result of his mental the mental stuff that he went through as a kid and his father and everything else. And a lot of that comes out in the there's a lot of flashbacks to his dad and all that. So that's why I say you could start with the Immortal Hulk and you would be just fine because I think it's the most rounded out. I would implore you to go back and watch the looked at Peter David stuff too. I mean, anything Peter David did for the most part was good. So.
Yeah. Oh, he defined Aquaman for me as a kid. I mean, it's like his run on Aquaman was like that. That's what got me into Aquaman as a kid. So his run on the Hulk also is definitely very iconic. And Clint, to answer your question, is it? Well, let's see. There's a part in the Ang Lee Hulk where the Hulk has to fight some soldiers in a hallway, and there's lots of hallway fight scenes in the raid. So that's why they're a lot like.
Weak. We're gonna have to ban the raid. I mean, what the?
We are never gonna ban the raid. And if you ban it, I'm just gonna break that ban every night.
It has to be relevant to it's not even relevant.
Clint keeps asking like how is completely disconnected subject. It's like how is like he's gonna ask me next
or Scott Adkins.
Yeah,
Scott Adkins.
No, Scott. No, Scott's my boy. No, come on, never ban Scott.
Well, no, but I'm saying that you make the 60 degrees of separation is always ending up with those three guys. Is that Wolverine behind William? Yeah.
Yeah. That was actually a bit of trivia too. That was actually Wolverine's first appearance was in the Hulk.
Yep, right here. And now the Wolverine. He actually appears in the back pages of it, the back pages of 180, but this is his first full appearance. He's jumping out of that's your first appearance of Wolverine. Created by Lin Wein.
His healing factor back then was like it wasn't even close to what it is now.
Yeah, and you didn't know everything about the character at this point. You didn't know about the adamantium skull. I mean, that it was
Yeah.
just,
I mean, back then, like his healing factor was he gets like a paper cut, he heals it in like about 10 minutes. That's what his healing factor was then. It's like now he'll survive a nuclear blast.
he couldn't survive this though.
Yeah.
This is actually legit. Could kill Wolverine at this point if you hit him with an energy beam that that was big enough to where there was not enough left of him to heal. You could kill him that way. What else is? Oh, this one. Are you talking about this one? This one I read.
Yeah. Claremont's, yeah.
Frank Miller.
That's like, I mean, if you're talking like recommending Wolverine stories, I mean, that's like you got to start right here.
Yeah. By the way, Exhibit A of why you cannot put this character in a kid's cartoon. Have you fucking lost your minds?
I mean, look at the cover for it's yes, yeah, like that.
This comic is violent.
Yeah.
This comic is violent. What else do we have of Wolverine?
I mean, look at that look he's giving. Like, I mean, he's just telling you straight up. It's like this is like forbidden fruit. Like all the carnage you're gonna see in this.
Yeah, but this, like I said, Incredible Hulk, awesome series. But like I said, Immortal Hulk for those of you guys. Here's another Alex Ross cover. Alex Ross is one of my favorite, besides Todd McFarlane.
Yeah.
Yeah. This one, by the way, Immortal Hulk is a separate run within the Incredible Hulk. So this is something that Marvel started doing to delineate certain arcs and certain storyline. So there's for 50 issues, the Incredible Hulk was the Immortal Hulk. Then it went back to being the Incredible Hulk with issue 782. So when I say Immortal Hulk, that's how you know. And they did that when they did that, I thought it was stupid. I'm like, why you guys? You just want to make money off another, get people excited about another number one. But then I understood it, and I actually applaud it because you can dive into this major story arc and know where you're at, and still come back to the legacy numbers. Like if I recommend the Immortal Hulk storyline to you, it's from 1 to 50 on its own, but it's actually part of the actual storyline. So Incredible Hulk has always been an ongoing storyline, and that makes it easier for somebody to, when they jump in and they see Incredible Hulk 738, they get intimidated. Like, oh, I can never get into that. It's already 700 issues. You can never, no, you 50 issues. I can sell them to you for dirt cheap.
Yeah.
We're only on, if you want to go back into all that, you can, but this particular run is encompassed right within its own thing. So I like the way they did that. So, right.
Michael J. White also, yeah, Spider-Man. Yeah, by the way, Spidey, have you seen One More Shot yet? Because that's Scott and Mike's latest action movie. It's pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. If you haven't seen it, give One More Shot a look.
I guess they could. I don't know if it's needed now. It all depends on where the Avengers are at, how many more Avengers stories you're going to tell with that particular.
Well, and also with the next Captain America, I mean, you've got that's like almost like a Hulk movie without the Hulk in it right now, because
you're going to have the Red Hulk.
It's got Jenna Ross, it's got Betty Ross, is finally going to have Stearns become the leader. So, which,
by the way, that's a Brainiac situation. Like, what? Come on, guys.
You mean taking that long to get the character?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, because that's a tease. They have that tease where his blood drips into that gash in his head and his brain starts pulsating. But then it's like it will have been 17 years from Incredible Hulk to that. We finally see.
But you can still use him because he's not aging. So there you go.
I get that. I get that. But still, it's like, man, it's like they took their time on that.
Well, because the character never developed enough to where they wanted to make a solo movie.
Yeah, well, yeah. There's
Universal's not doing anything with the character.
Yeah, and they have. There's a lot of, maybe not aware, there's that whole friction between Universal and Marvel over the Hulk, and Universal has the solo movie rights, and they're basically just saying, yeah, we're just gonna sit on it.
Well, they want Marvel to pay them for them.
Right? Yeah.
But there's not a Hulk movie is not gonna make enough
in
money
isolation. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you look at the first two, what they did both. The first one they did like 245, and the second one do 263. Now, granted, with inflation, those will probably be closer to like 400 now. But still, it's in terms of like solo characters. It's you compare that to other MCU characters. It's not on the level like Captain America or Iron Man or like a lot of the other big ones.
The reason why is because they've already used him up in their storyline, so it devalues him as a story arc. They've already used him alongside. They didn't own the character, but they still got the use out of him. So it's not worth it for Marvel to pay top dollar for a solo story for something that they've already got full run out of. Same thing with Submariner. They can do a Submariner movie. Universal would just get the distribution money.
Yeah.
They would it'd make out. So they would
and who knows what the hell the status of Submariner right now.
But it doesn't with the structure of the MCU. It doesn't. A solo movie doesn't. They don't need to do one. They can tell there's as much as his story that's told alongside the Fantastic Four and the Avengers that they can just use them as as long as use them as a group, as long as they don't. If they want to do a solo movie, then they got to get with but they don't need to. I mean, so it's okay. So William, is the Immortal Hulk storyline the one where the Avengers have to call in the Century? No, that's World War Hulk. That's World War. I didn't like the story. I didn't like. That's one of the stories that I think is probably, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, is probably one of the most overrated stories in the last 30 or 40 years. I do not want to see that, and I do not want to see that in the movie. Yeah, I read it as it came out, and I just wasn't a big. I wasn't a big fan of any of those versions of Hulk. That story, with his son and all that. I was like, that's when I stopped reading Hulk. And I really didn't get back into Hulk until Immortal Hulk came around. I did not like the World War Hulk story. I didn't like the premise. I didn't like anything about it. And I know at some point in 30 years from now, they'll make a movie out of it. I don't see it happening anytime soon because where does it fit in what you're doing? Because that would be a big effort. Because remember, World War Hulk involved a lot of people that you're currently using, so you'd have to displace it somewhere.
And they've already used like elements of that, Sakaar and whatnot, in Thor Ragnarok. So they've
and I hate that character, by the way.
Yeah, they've already semi-adapted World War Hulk, anyway. Yeah. So that kind of where'd that leave them as far as like trying to do that.
It's one of those stories that was big. It got a lot of notoriety, and a lot of people who like to adapt stuff, they gravitate towards those types of stories. It's one of the reasons why Venom and Bane are on the ban list. You have two characters that have been around so long and have great rogues galleries, but you went for the most recent in the what have you done for me lately type character, and that's what a lot of times these adaptations do. That's why you got the that's why a lot of Marvel's adaptations have done that way. I mean, even the Infinity Saga, 75% of the Infinity Saga sucked. When Jim Starlin and Ron Lim began it, when they brought back Thanos and Silver Surfer 34, it was actually pretty good. But once you had the Infinity Quest, and with each level of the story that it got away from Jim Starlin, there was a level of suck to it that just was like, okay, now we're getting fucking stupid. And then they had bought back Adam Warlock. They bought back all the characters they weren't allowed to write unless Jim Starlin wrote them, and they just turned them into buffoons. In the story, they made Thanos into this, mastermind and all this stuff, and in love with death, and then reminded you of just how stupid that Jim Starlin made him because he wasn't the smartest villain; he was the passionate villain. That's how you beat him. But yeah, it's just so. When you look at these type of storylines, they take the biggest thing, that stood out, and they make same thing with Death of Superman. Death of Superman and Doomsday. That's another one that needs to be on the ban list, by the way, because you mean to tell me Superman, the first superhero, and Brainiac. How many for every time you did a Death of Superman retread, Brainiac, just stick Brainiac into any of those spaces, and it probably would have been better. So, I was not a fan of World War Hulk. I'm not a fan of those. I call them hotshot storytelling, is what it is.
Well, saving grace is William can't ban Death of Superman, really, because if he did, we couldn't talk about BVS or the upcoming final season of Superman Lois. So
yeah, I can ban the fuck out of that right now.
You can't. You're not going to ban either of those. I know those.
I can ban that. I can ban Reign of Superman, which is another horrific.
You're not going to ban those two though, and they're drawing from them. So what are you gonna do?
Oh, easily. I can skip right over that. And like I said, it's just you if you look at since 1988, they comic them in period. Either people who are writing these stories for comic books, and that's one of the reasons why comics are hurting. And the people who do these movies, they use the same pool of storylines. When there are superior, multi-layered characters that are like, why hasn't the leader been? I mean, what there's like, and Spider-Man's the biggest travesty, because Spider-Man probably has some of the best rogue galleries that you'll ever see. Same thing with Batman. You look up Batman's rogues gallery and you see some of the characters that have been bypassed in order to get to the same old song and dance characters. I mean, come on, man. Same thing with Superman. Same thing with any of these legacy characters. So, but that's what they do. They pick the big storylines, because a lot of these guys aren't reading the stuff. They just look at, what was the big storyline that I saw in the news, a couple of years ago. Oh yeah, let's do that one. And then all of a sudden now you have a movie. So here you go.
So anyway, Batman v Superman is a really awesome movie that adapts the death of Superman, and Superman and Lois also adapts the death of Superman in season 3.
What you said there? Hold on. Repeat what you just said. You just epitomized the problem with it.
I said Batman v Superman. Just the whole sentence?
Yeah.
Batman v Superman is an awesome movie that adapts the death of Superman, and Superman and Lois season 3 and 4 adapts. Well, we'll wait and see what season 4 does, but it's writing's on the wall. Some kind of adaptation.
How tired is that? How unimaginative is that? Superman.
So they do it one time, and then they do it a second time. One time in the movie.
You didn't need to do it the one time. It wasn't the best story available to you. It's Superman. You literally have 8 decades of stories and better ones than that. And they've done that one twice.
We've done it how many times in animation now? It's animation.
That's too many.
Big time.
It's Superman. We're not talking about a brand new character that doesn't have any enemies and any brilliant stories. You could literally close your eyes and head towards the Superman rack, and you're going to pick out some of the best enemies that comics has. I
do agree. I do agree. His rogues gallery tends to not get as recognized as it should, because Superman's got a way better rogues gallery than I think a lot of like normies realize. And that's one thing I really appreciate with what Zach was doing, is that he was the first filmmaker, I feel, really to delve into them, because he brought in Doomsday, but he also brought in we had Zod, he had Feora, had Steppenwolf, had Darkseid. You could tell from like a lot of the Easter eggs and such in Man of Steel, there was definitely like elements of Brainiac that were being worked in there. What else do we have?
Spider-Man. I mean, damn. You have so many enemies, and they couldn't wait. They couldn't wait to stuff Venom in Spider-Man 3. Venom hadn't been around.
Well, that's Avi Arad, though. Come on.
But here we are. I mean, they're going to do it again. You're going to get Venom in some form of Venom.
Well, yeah, because he left a little piece of himself behind in No Way Home, yeah.
And then Batman. I mean, Batman literally, arguably, has some of the best enemies out there. What the fuck's Clayface? I mean, where are all these good enemies? What do you give me? Multiple times? Come on now. We can do better than this. Come on. It's the use of being around 80 years if you're going to use the latest and allegedly greatest. I mean, come on. That's lazy. Okay. All right.
You're really gonna not enjoy me talking about Superman season 4. I can tell, definitely.
I mean, and then you know what's the sad part about it? The sad part about it is within the next 5 years, some other version of Superman. I wouldn't be surprised if James Gunn did this all over again.
I don't think he's going to bring in Doomsday. I think, yeah.
He never should have been, like I said, he's been brought in so many times. Even Krypton, a show I liked, I got that pit in my stomach because here's Doomsday. And I'm like, can't we tell a story without Doomsday? And to tell you that I'm not just a Snyder sycophant that just, wouldn't be critical of something he did. That is the only thing about BVS that I don't like, is the insertion of Doomsday and the death of Superman. Because I thought there were different ways to show an appreciation in a world without Superman than bringing that story about. That is the only flaw, in my opinion, about BVS, which still, even with those flaws, is up here to me as far as superhero movies goes. But that's something I didn't think they needed to do. And then Krypton, they brought him in Krypton. And then it's like every time it's like they can't wait to pull this character out of their ass and stuff. I'm like, when can we get to Doomsday? When can we kill Superman? I'm like, okay. And then, like I said, it's the same thing with Venom, same thing with Bane. Bane has been around literally. He was in a movie less than 4 years, I believe, after he was literally in comic books.
Yeah, about yeah.
And that was just them grabbing the
Well,
headlines.
but
"Oh,
yeah,
what
that
do we
was not.
think
Come
now?"
on, that was
That was
even as a non-fan of Bane, you have to admit that was not a good rendition of Bane.
and then here we are again after the Joker, which I don't mind. I understand Joker's been overused, not overused, but he's been used. But he's the Joker. There's certain he's a top tier Batman villain to the point where that is the yang, the yin. I mean, that's fine. But the follow up to one of the greatest villain portrayals of all time, and Heath Ledger's Academy Award winning performance, you give me the absolute opposite. And I don't blame Tom Hardy. Tom Hardy did what they wanted him to do, did the best. But I'm like, out of all of Batman's enemies, you could have
stand on ceremony here, Mr. Powell.
and then you bring back, oh, well, I remember that story back from 1993. What was it all? The Broken Bat. Let's do that.
I was wondering what would break first, your spirit or your body.
It's different when you're sitting around a comic book store talking about these things. You're being paid a lot of money to use an imagination. Use it. So Brainiac, we haven't seen a proper Brainiac on a big screen, and how long?
Well,
Ever.
Well,
Ever.
other than like in the connective tissue established within Man of Steel, but not like the actual character. No, we had discount Brainiac in Superman 3, and that's about it.
I don't even. That's
yeah.
I don't even like that. Hurts my head. Well, I'm like, and I just like these characters have some brilliant enemies that test them. And they just go for the highlight, the highlight reel enemies. And I'm like, okay, fine.
Yeah, well, speaking of villains, Aaron, who were the Hulk's villains? The big one, obviously, is Abomination.
Oh wow! Yeah, I guess I would put. Yeah, you got to put him up there.
Yeah, then the leader,
Neil
obviously,
Tim Roth,
and they also Absorbing Man. Which they played around with him a little bit in the Ang Lee movie, where it's they kind of merged Bruce's father with Absorbing Man.
I didn't.
Who else? They got Red Hulk more recently. Yeah, I mentioned the leader. Yeah, the leader. Yeah, we're finally
Red Hulk is super recent.
Yeah, that's like 2008, I think. And
I remember when nobody knew. Remember when at first we was reading it, nobody knew who he was yet.
Yeah.
And then when it was, I have the issue where it was revealed. That was actually a well done story, by the way.
Yeah. One and aside from Red Hulk, also even before Red Hulk, also General Ross, is a Hulk villain.
Yeah, he's from issue 1.
So it's kind of like he got like 2 Hulk villains surprised to one with him.
Yeah, Roxas, the chemical company.
Yeah, there have been stories also they've had him up against the Rhino.
Juggernaut. He's had characters because he's of his strength that they said, well, we got to put the Hulk up against that guy. But his most notable enemies would be the leader, the Abomination. Anybody that is like class 100 strength.
Yeah, like Absorbing
up
Man,
to and including Absorbing Man, which was a Thor enemy, but he fought him. Thor himself, when him and Thor during the early years, because Thor, remember Hulk was uncontrollable, and he would always try to fight. Every time he would go out, some hero had to go. In fact, that's how the Avengers were formed, because
and they worked that into the first movie.
Which was exactly how they did that, and in order, and almost in order that they could. Then you had Space Phantom, which was in Incredible Avengers #2, and that's what caused you. The Hulk was only a member of the Avengers for one issue, and then he leaves in issue 2 because the Space Phantom turns into the Hulk and creates mistrust among us because they couldn't trust him. He's like, "You guys don't trust me. I'm just going to leave." He would come back periodically, though.
Yeah, and the thing about it is too, all these enemies we just listed, they have a long history comics wise, but because of like limitations of technology and whatnot, they could not put them into their Lou Ferrigno show, unfortunately.
William, Red Hulk started when Iron Man 1 was in theaters. We said that 2008.
Yeah.
Pay attention, Spidey.
Yeah. Well, also I think he.
He said Roxanne. You know what I'm thinking of when I say Roxas? I'm thinking of Legion of Superheroes. For those of you who haven't read that book from Keith Giffen, his run in the late 80s, early 90s, there was a character called Kevin Roxas who was a fucking badass. Look him up.
William loves Keith Giffen, but has some characters of his he doesn't like. principally Lobo.
Lobo, his part in JLI. I really hate JLI. That's why I'm gonna take a step back from Superman, James Gunn Superman, because it's not. There's just too much that I'm seeing right now. That there's characters in it that just make me physically ill, and I can't enjoy that. I'm like, oh, and I know I'm going to see Nort. If I see Nort the Green Lantern, at that moment, I will walk out of that theater. If you give me, because we're 1 degree away from Nort, because we got Guy Gardner. And
yeah, Guy Gardner again.
I know we're gonna get Nort.
I have to keep. I can't stop myself from saying this every time. It's like 8 billion people on this planet. Okay, if you talk to every single one of them, not one of them will tell you that Guy Gardner is their favorite Green Lantern.
But at least I'm getting lanterns. But see, this movie has to do well now. This movie like I said, I literally have to lie and promote and be like, yeah, just go see Superman. Yeah, go see it. It's going to be probably horrible because you'll be able to read my face if I don't like it. But we have to get to lanterns. If I'm enduring this fucking reboot, you got to give me, especially now that you told me who's doing it, what it's about, and it's based on the framework on a show that I love. You guys know how I feel about True Detective. I love that.
Well, at least
variation of that show.
At least you're talking about like having at least you won't have to walk out like with the reaction we all have with Justice League, where it's like, no, it's I really like it. It's the Justice League I waited my whole life for. It's like no, it's like no.
Yeah, when they tell me, Dad, William, do you think we should continue with the DTU? We're past this and we're going. What's the next one? Yeah, let's.
And Spider-Man had this for me. No, I got that, man. I'm talking about because they were adapting like, elements of Planet Hulk, and of course that's the follow-up to World War Hulk. So they've already semi-adapted that with Ragnarok.
And I in one of them, Thor Ragnarok, which is an awful fucking movie. But yeah, it was based on a lot of that and the look and feel of that. And I'm like, this is just composite storytelling. So, all right, I think House of the Dragon. House of the Dragon.
By the way, also Vince points out, yes, we are 604 now.
Yep, I just saw that. Wow. Hulk smash dragons. Let's see. Kevin Feige was one of Hulk's biggest villains. I can agree with that because we got Whistle.
Yeah.
How many of you in here are watching or are Game of Thrones people? Are you a Game of Thrones person?
Yeah, so. That's again, like I said, Ashley, run circles around me.
Yeah, we need to get her on. In fact, I think
I need to text her and say it's like, you want to come on, and not only that, but she also could really be a great guest for when we get to the Crow remake in August because she's got some thoughts on that.
Yeah, and we need to text her and say she's your replacement, so we bring her on to talk to. We are 1 week out from Game of Thrones. I'm about to build my Iron Throne every year. I build or every
on that. I'll be right back.
Yeah, I'm gonna go get Ashley. We're I didn't have a problem. I mean, I didn't agree with every decision that was made in season 7, but season 8, after the Battle of Winterfell, it was like, what am I watching? And then that last episode was offensively bad. But House of the Dragon has come out, brutally violent from minute 1, episode 1. And if you are following the Dance of the Dragons, if you've read the source material, you know what's going to happen during this first episode. And these episodes are long. All the episodes are over an hour. We will be streaming. I think I'm going to do watch-alongs for that, and then a post-show attachment. So I think we're going to do that. I think because usually the first time I did it, I did Game of Thrones. I don't know. I'm gonna go with Brad and give Brad benefit of the doubt. The violence is a bit much for me until I run watch parties for it. Yeah, it's very violent, very very violent. Ashley might be an if. Oh wow, you guys suck. You haven't seen House of the Dragon yet? Get on House. Any bad taste do you have in your mouth from Game of Thrones season 7 or 8? It's instantly gone. When you see House of the Dragon, it is a great show. Everybody should watch it, I think. Of course, Fourth hates House of the Dragon. But why? I just hate House of the Dragon because it's a freaking prequel. We know how it turns out for this cast. Yeah, I'm not a big prequel guy. That's one of the things when I heard that they were doing this. However, I think that House of the Dragon will last 7 years. I don't think it's all going to be the prequel stuff. I don't think it's all going to be. I think you might see the Aegon's conquest for a little bit, but I really do think that you are going to the Jon Snow show that was going to happen is going to be tied into this. So eventually, when we get towards the end of House of the Dragon, we're going to be seeing where he's at. So, but I understand what you're saying. Yeah, I mean, remember, I thought Ruth and Brad were the same people since we never saw Ruth, and then finally Ruth. Yeah. What I said. Remember we all thought Ruth was Brad. Yep, and then Ruth came on, and I'm like, it's Ruthie. Yeah, because she was Ruth Monroe, is what she had her name on there. But yeah, Ruth is a whole other set of mysteries there. Yep, we are at 604 subscribers, and like I said, it's probably going to take a while for me to get my little tab, but once I get it, I'll let you guys. Well, you guys will know because you'll see the little dollar sign and the thing. So it's going to be cool. All right, and with that, since I am on a mission to try to keep the show sleek and quick and not 4 hours tonight, we're gonna let you knuckleheads into the chat, and we'll wrap the show up. We're gonna have about 20 minutes of banter, and then I said I'm tired. Now watch him come back with her. All right, the link is in the chat. Please don't make me regret it. Did not have a music topic tonight. It didn't. I just didn't have something that grabbed me in the way that the other ones have, so we skipped it.
Yeah, and I was actually when we were talking about the Hulk, I was gonna ask, I guess, because you were talking about like the whole character history of the Hulk, so that kind of encompasses sort of the turning point story tonight, right?
Yeah, that's a comic book developmental story. 604 actually.
Yeah.
What's up, Betsy?
What's up, Vince?
Hey, I had to come on I had to be here for the first Saturday that we're over 500 subs.
Yeah. Again, it's like we just blew right past. We're at 606 right now. I just saw, so we might actually hit 6, because we were starting at 442, so we might actually legit make it to like 200 from that. I mean, that's blown my mind. How's it going, Clint?
Did she post it somewhere? Is that why?
Yeah, I think she posted it on her Twitter page, and she sent out a blast to people on her list because she's she owns a radio station, so she can. What is that? Is that a?
That looks like a xenomorph action figure.
Oh, it is. Okay, I like it.
You don't need to lay out a frame there, Clint.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's the first time I've seen Clint actually on camera.
Oh yeah. Oh, I see him all the time.
Well, because he's in Vegas too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. 400 more. Yeah. That's what it is. Like,
yeah, that's 1,000, and then you get the they run ads through your show. You get a cut of the ads. You get a cut of YouTube Premium.
The rate it's going, yeah, we might get there pretty soon.
Okay. Yeah, I've had them add ads to
Heidi or Quattro by Gina. What's up?
They've added ads to a few of my videos, and I'm not even monetized, which is kind of irritating.
Yeah, you don't get a cut. You don't get a cut out of it though. They just
you zoomed right past the 5. I was going to congratulate you on 500. I couldn't even say happy 500 before you got 600.
Yeah, I didn't. that was like
you got more. You got more than half of the views you already had in one day, and you've been on for like 3 years. And in one day you did half your work.
I think we're at 2. I think we're at 2 years. I think it is 2 years, right?
2 years. Okay.
What's going on, Andrew? In that first year, I just had the channel. Because I remember I was on Poindexter Lounge, and when Enosh took his hiatus, I was streaming exclusively from there, and then we started to bridge it over and do a simulcast, and then all of a sudden now I left that and just do this now. So I didn't leave it, but I couldn't have Brad on and do that because there wasn't enough spots. So that's why that kind of pushed me for better or for worse to do.
And the world has never been the same.
Yep, there we go.
It's just that it's just the Kermit the Frog in your voice makes time go slower. So I thought it was 3 years. My mistake. You actually added 50% of time.
Cookie Monster is more accurate than
Okay, Cookie. I got you. But
Kermit the Frog actually has like a singing voice. Andrew
It's not
Caselli, I
that
remember you
easy
from way
being
back
re-
in the day, man.
I'm gonna spend each day the color of the leaves. I can actually do a pretty good Kermit the Frog, I think.
Oh,
Yeah, he's Jay
I think
Caselli
that's
in
what I
the
want to
chat.
be.
Okay.
go ahead, Brad. Give us your voice so you can get it out of your system.
It's not that easy being green. Having to spend each day the color of leaves.
All right, William. Just say anything. Just say the quick brown fox jumps over the whatever dog or whatever that one is.
The cat
Just
jumped
say
over the
anything.
fence. I don't know.
You see, he sounds just like Kermit. He didn't even have-
I think I hate my voice. I actually thought when I listen to our replays, I'm like, ooh man, can I mask?
You
my
shouldn't
voice?
hate your voice, man.
I sound different in cameras too.
Yeah, it's like when I hear myself on recordings and shit, and it's like, oh my gosh, that's me. I'm just looking for Cookie. It's like, well, whatever, but it works.
Cookie. No.
All
C is
right.
for cookie. That's good enough for me.
William. So you don't like World War Hawk or you don't like Planet Hawk?
Neither. I just never.
Okay,
really
and Brad, you had it right, but you had it backwards. Planet Hawk is after the Illuminati sends him off into space, like the end of Avengers 2.
Yeah.
World War Hawk is when he comes back for his revenge with Scar.
Well, I get what you're saying.
Scar,
I get what you're saying there, but what I was getting at there is that they've that 2-story combo. They've still taken elements of that and put that into Ragnarok, so it kind of complicates the idea of like them doing a kind of like 1-to-1 adaptation of the MCU.
For sure. Well, we're never getting to 1-to-1 anything. We get comic book titles. That's what we get. Is we get comic book titles.
Well, that's what
what
Age of Ultron was. It's like it's
Weekend at Ultrons is what I call it. You know that.
Yeah, it's like Civil War. You got
one fucking day.
Yeah, I mean,
age is like thousands of years. This motherfucker.
I mean, with Civil War, you don't get Spider-Man revealing his identity to the world.
Yeah, exactly. We just get the introduction of Spider-Man, and Captain America and Iron Man's beef is nowhere to what it was in the. Captain America got assassinated at the end of Civil War.
With Shield.
Let's go fourth.
Get out.
Mr. Mutant Walrus photo guy.
That is freaky.
So, but Aaron also points out, I know we got at least one new subscriber from the watch party. Lots of Godzilla fans out there. Yes, and I think again, like who because a lot of people here were part of the Godzilla -1 watch party. I think most everybody here had seen it already. I know Aaron had. It was Root's first time.
Well, you also said it was the #1 movie on Netflix, right? So maybe just us being on YouTube probably attracted a little bit of that attention.
Yeah,
people are interested in it right now.
Yeah. So, but
and like going to the radio station,
Netflix, and Apple, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it kind of like how much of that is like because it did. We've talked about like the box office of -1 compared to MonsterVerse, which like -1 did well, but it didn't do MonsterVerse numbers, and so like how much, and then you add in that's English or it's a subtitled, so how much of the monetary aspect of it was it like kind of like a POD thing where it's like we'll just wait for streaming, wait for home media, what have you, to see where that most Americans I guess were thinking with that -1, because if memory serves, it got a decent turnout when I saw it. I mean, it wasn't like Godzilla X Kong, but definitely other people in there with me, and but yeah, Bad Boys, what that's doing right now, that was really driving up to the theater that night, seeing a pretty full parking lot. That was hadn't seen that in quite a while, and apparently Fourth is now here twice. So
yeah, it was me and my girlfriend's first time seeing it because she watched along on like Twitch.
Are you really on here twice, Fourth?
It's Fourth 1 trillion.
Or did somebody else like come
in?
He
said he has 1% on something, so I think it was probably switching over.
Okay. Oh yeah. He said on his Oh yeah, okay, yeah. You're on your phone, yeah. So you're trying to
make things happen out here in the world.
Okay, gotcha. But excuse me, guys. Yeah. So I think where were we like in all the discussion tonight? I don't know what was the.
We were discussing how good the burgers are at Sister Kim's, right?
No, I think they're great. Actually, they're great Mondo burgers. William is not on camera right now, so we can totally destroy that banned topic list.
Oh, I heard a big sigh from the Sci-Fi Center.
By the way, your profile pic is that Howard the Duck movie.
No, Clint, yeah. Well, and why are we? I'm not fully clear. Like, why are we doing a watch party over that again in October? Because somebody donated and they said we just got to do that again. Make William suffer.
He just wants to torment us.
Yeah. Well, you guys wanted to torment me with Scary Movie, so I mean, I
Really, what can we torment Forth and Clint and everybody else with? You got to dig deep, right? You got to start figuring these things out. You got to investigate your.
What would be? Well, what don't they
get
like?
your retribution, Brad.
Well, see, Spider-Man, I'm too less dumb to let you all know what movies I don't like.
Let's see, Cletus. I mean Droga. I mean Carnage. I mean whoever
What
you are.
up?
How's it
What
going, man?
up? How we doing? I got this 2 days ago for $90.
I think I saw you post about this. So you,
Was that the movie version with Woody Harrelson?
Yeah.
I thought you enjoyed him as I enjoyed his.
I love
Too
that
bad they
movie.
wasted him.
Well,
he's underutilized.
I enjoyed him, and now I did appreciate also they got rid of that fake ass wig they had him with in the end credits scene.
Yeah, they made him a lovesick puppy for that screaming girl.
Shriek, yeah.
Yeah.
I think. So you're just gonna? Is that gonna be just you tonight? Just nothing but just the Carnage action figure?
Yeah.
Okay.
But also I gotta go.
Oh,
okay. See you,
okay.
All right. See ya.
That was fast.
In and out. Okay. So I'm not quite. Yeah, you left before Aaron could say hi. So fellow Ozzy. So okay. But see you, man. Let's wrap in. Yeah. So where was I at? With what have I got to? You meant to spite like what could be my retribution for a Scary Movie and Meet the Spartans and all that bullshit you guys put me through.
Yeah, I mean, this is something you got to come up with. It looks like that Clinton is not going to show you, expose his weakness. He's not going to tell you his proverbial kryptonite. So, what can you get Forth on? What can you get Vince on? What can you get me on? I don't know. I'm pretty good.
You guys want to suffer through the room for me?
In the room.
Sure. Yeah. I already
suffered. Going to come in and tell us we can't do the room.
No, we're not doing the fuck comment. No,
you're tearing me apart, Lisa.
I already suffered with Terrifier. Anything else is child's play.
Hey, there's one amazing thing about Terrifier, so I can.
I know you have done showings of. Go ahead, Vince.
I was just gonna make a joke. What the one thing about Terrifier that was great was when the credits finally rolled.
Oh, okay.
Well, like once that like the second one in particular, like once the credits start, I mean, you feel like you've just like completed like a marathon and like a 2-hour session in the gym where while somebody's like whipping you with like the Passion of the Christ. Like, I mean, it's
Christ compels you.
Yeah, I mean, really, I mean, it's like it is an endurance test to get through that second one. It is really is like, and it's like you're talking, you're hearing that from the guys here. We talk about the 3Ds constantly. It's like, but the second one's like, my God in heaven, it's like it just doesn't have an off switch. It just goes. It just pushes. It pushes the envelope, and then it just pulls envelopes out of the drawer to keep pushing. That's what the Terrifier does.
And then pour salt on the wound, literally.
Yeah, and bleach. Yeah, but William. Okay, so because I know for a fact you have done showings of the room in there, but we can't do a watch party of the room.
I did those to keep it good with our.
He was doing that as overtime.
No, our partners that get that we promote movies with asked us to do them, and I did them as a favor for when, hey, I need an extra 20 or 30 seats for something type of deal, but not because I wanted to. I endured that. Those were horrible experiences. There's no value. I don't see any value whatsoever in ever investing another second into those movies.
Have I shared my story about like the prank I pulled on my parents with the room?
Yes, you did.
Have you guys heard that? Because I
you said it was a love story or something like that.
I told them it was before the room had like really like gained like mainstream recognition. I had seen it, but it was still kind of an underground thing at the time, and I think it was over like Christmas break one year, and it was home from from school and whatnot, and my folks were because they are completely indecisive on like whenever they want to rent something on demand or whatnot, and they are completely out of the loop on anything when it comes to like stuff we talk about on here. So like it's only within like they haven't even seen ZSJL yet. I mean, that's how, and they haven't seen the raid. They know all the stuff.
Most people hadn't seen the raid, but
no, but you would think that like they know how fanatical I am about it. It's like they.
So you're saying they're normal,
pretty much. But they had this is before the room and gained traction, and so
did it ever gain traction? I mean, is there a different word for what?
Okay,
it
gained infamy. How about that?
It became. It was a viral sensation, William. It was a viral sensation.
Yeah, but so they were asking me like, hey, you got anything you can recommend this one night, and I realized, yeah, they don't know about this yet, and they know nothing about it. So I pull out my I get my DVD of it out and say, oh yeah, this has like been really making the rounds of like film festivals. It's this really acclaimed, like I described this. I think I said something like it's a romantic comedy, and it's hilarious and it's heartwarming at the same time, and people apparently. I think I sold it. I said it's like, yeah, it's gonna it's supposed to be getting like some Oscar buzz this year. And so okay, we can do this. And really, I mean, just the cover alone really should have clued them in. So I was bullshitting there.
I would have changed the lock so you couldn't get back into the family house.
So I think they play it. They start playing it. I go into the other room and I keep the door open because I wanted to see how far they would get. As my dad puts it, they made it to, in his words, the initial screw. And the whole time, my mom was like 5 minutes in. She was going, "What has my son got me watching?" She said, she thought I'd given them a porn movie.
Well, we got Ruth in the chat.
Ruth, yeah, Ruth. Have you familiar with something called The Room?
Hop on the stream. Hop on the stream, Ruth. Hop on the stream, Aaron. We need you guys.
Because I can recommend like some of you guys like
I did not really like I did not.
It's really it's a masterpiece of just amazing writing.
If you value the people around you, you won't recommend this movie to.
I just wonder
they're gonna think less of you. I'm dead serious. If you recommend those movies to anybody, they're not gonna trust you with shit. They're not gonna trust you with. They're not even gonna ask you anymore. They're not gonna ask you for things that they trust you with. Hey, how does this taste? So should we do this? No, they're not even gonna. You're like persona non grata. Once you introduce those fucking movies to somebody, you don't make sure that's the last thing that you recommend them to because they're not gonna believe you.
Well, I'm just wondering like how many more people I can pull this prank on. That don't know
as many people as you want out of your life. Go ahead. You know,
she just woke up. She's waking up hearing about The Room.
We need to hear about.
You guys know about The Room. I'm sure you know all about it. I can't.
Most people don't know about that fucking awful movie.
Have your parents?
There's no reason for anybody that's not looking for The Room to know about The Room.
Well, but also, I mean, they had the disaster artist, so they made a movie about the movie. So
that's why I had to do both of those.
I think less people saw the disaster artist in the actual room.
I had to hunt people down and not tell them what they were going to go see. That's what they wanted me to do. Just tell them it's a secret movie and don't tell them that what it is. And I'm like, okay. And I asked, well, what's the movie? And when they told me, I'm like, okay, do I get to blame this on you guys? Because you're associating my credibility to this fucking.
We hadn't met yet, so you couldn't blame me.
It's like, yeah, the emails I got after that were like, dude, did you know what you were going to see? Nope. They just told me they told me not to say anything. I knew, but I was like, oh fuck.
This is the poster, by the way, or this is on the DVD cover. It's like I was saying, like this really should have signaled them that something was wrong.
It looks like a bad Johnny Cash album is what it looks like.
There's on the Wikipedia for it. It's like, yeah, that really should have told them that's like I wasn't being truthful with the way I was describing it.
They trusted their kid, and look what that did for them.
Gotta love the acting. It's like, I did not hit her. I did not.
I did not. Oh, hi, Mark. Anyway, how is your sex life?
All right,
hey, babe, I got something for you.
Shut down right now. I don't want to hear anything from that fucking movie.
The flower shop scene is the funniest fucking shit.
Oh, yeah. It's like, oh, hi, doggy.
Okay, bye.
It's like the worst scene. All right, this is banned.
That's terrible.
This is fucking banned.
You got the fruit to be a banned topic.
Why?
There is no value to the show in bringing up this movie. There's no science fiction. There's no horror value. There's no
No, it's
value to
horror.
bring
Oh, it's
in a-
absolutely horror.
Horrible, yeah.
So okay, to change the subject, William, you were talking about rogues galleries, right? Who's your favorite non-top tier Batman villain and your favorite non-top tier
Oh, you guys,
Spider-Man villain?
haven't you should know this automatically who my favorite Batman villain is.
That's a non-top tier.
On top tier?
No, you think Ra's al Ghul is the best. I know.
I'm gonna go with
Ra's al Ghul.
any variation of Clayface.
Okay.
Like
all versions of Clayface. I get you.
any version of Clayface. Non-top tier.
So bottom can't be the crime bosses of the crime bosses of Gotham. They gotta be the guys that the Joker and fucking Riddler would hire. So they would hire Clayface. You're right about that. Clayface is not running a gang in fucking Gotham. You know what I mean?
It could be the Condiment King.
No, he's Z-list. He's super Z-list. you Clayface is a good pick.
Killer Croc.
Killer Croc. Waylon Jones gets hired out. Yeah.
So I don't. Those like usually though when those characters are around, I know there's a top tier character involved. So it's still
yeah.
part of the story, but it's not Bane.
Bane is considered top tier based on his arc, though, right?
Well, when you shove,
he organized the whole breakout, and then he took Batman down after investigating. Like, his story is like, it's a little much to be the first thing he ever did. I get that, but that puts you right to the top. I don't say he's equal to the Joker or Penguin or nothing, but that puts you at that level because that's what they try to do all the time. That's what they're trying. That's the same thing they did with Doomsday. They fucking fast track Bane and Doomsday right to the front. Right to the front.
Added to that list. Doomsday is getting added to that list with.
I'm just saying I'm not disagreeing with you. I think the Doomsday is a little those are fast track supervillain stories. First appearance, destroy the hero within a year of each other. Both were the same thing, Bane and Doomsday. Right?
Let's make a movie after we're done with all that.
They made 5 movies each of both.
I can't get Brainiac. I can't get a proper Brainiac, but I can get these characters, which is that makes it even worse.
I mean, my opinion of BVS is that you're really looking at Bizarro or Superboy as much as you're looking at Doomsday because of how he was produced.
Yeah,
that's my interpretation. Well, he fills the same role for all three. Huh?
And that's also kind of what you get on Superman and Lois because he's created out of Bizarro on
Superman and Lois. Well, yeah, that's true actually. And the Bizarro from that show came from like an alternate universe.
Well, yeah, but then Lex kills him repeatedly and right back and turns him into Doomsday.
Which is from his origin in the comic that the Doctor kept killing him repeatedly so he could.
But it wasn't Bizarro that was happening too. So
yeah.
It was actually a wreck on there. And then the whole history of Doomsday. And he was fighting Darkseid, and he was almost about to be Darkseid that one time. I'm like, okay, now this is bullshit.
Yeah, Doomsday stuff. Do you remember the All-American Boy when they had that K squad and they never did anything with it?
Yeah.
It was like a Batman Superman issue and it's a cliffhanger and they have the US government has a whole Kryptonite squad and they have a Doomsday named All-American Boy and all his bones are made Kryptonite and they never did shit with that. It never went anywhere.
That was probably the right decision given where it was headed, but yeah,
the U.S. government had a Kryptonite Doomsday amongst 5 other like ninjas that had Kryptonite.
Yeah,
by the way, William,
there we go.
6:15.
We're at 6:15. Wow,
6:15. Yeah.
Rad.
You're zooming. That your radio station friend hooked you up.
Oh well, time to end the stream.
Wait, what?
So Wilb's going to end the stream as soon as his view count went up.
Oh yeah. You always end it right when it's getting good. That's what Forrest was saying earlier. Right when shit gets good, you start cutting shit off.
No matter what kind of day I've had, how busy I've been, how tired I may be, just say we just want to go on forever.
Yeah. Hey man,
you got to bleed for this one.
Oh hi, Mark.
Ruins the cult. William Vince says, "I want to be part of that cult."
So when is the Revenge, Wayne? When are we gonna watch this? When are we gonna watch Revenge? When are we gonna watch the Revenge, man?
Revenge of what?
The Revenge of the Sith. I thought we were watching a Star Wars movie at the Sci-Fi Center one of these days. Empire, Revenge. What do we got?
You doing
Last Jedi.
Anybody want to see those movies? I mean, we ran those movies into the ground.
Have we ever even watched
We
fucking Star
haven't, but
Wars
before.
movie?
I mean, people have seen those movies. It's not like like what we saw today, where like there's. I don't think is there anybody that we're
no
going
way we could spoil it and everybody would be on the same page. That would be awesome. Right?
Oh,
It'd
we
Be
can
like
do
a
the
Justice
holiday.
League type
I'd be up for a
experience.
watch along.
What about the holiday special?
No.
You're always like right up here, me, Vince, and then you just fucking knock one down just to fuck with me, man.
Yeah.
I mean, what do we? I want to watch things that and like I said, that I enjoy. I mean, I don't want to.
Yeah, go see the land of Wookiees.
I'd be down for a prequel series watch along.
Yeah, man, just let me get my revenge, and I love that shit.
Yeah, we can get more Hayden Christensen saying, "I don't like sand."
I don't know if
Can we just skip the first two? If we do that,
Phantom Menace was
like-
probably the better one. I
Hey,
really like
you'll
that
miss
one.
a lot.
As
You'll
long
miss
as I can ignore all the frivolous stuff, but the main story was good.
And the lightsaber battle at the end of Phantom Menace is really nice too. Darth Maul, Qui-Gon Jinn, Obi-Wan Kenobi fight is great.
Yeah, I hope people know that he didn't just make up midichlorians then. He'd had it in his notepads since like the late 70s.
Yeah, in the Wills of the Force storyline. Yeah.
Should have kept them in his notebook.
Exactly. Should have burned that notebook.
What was wrong with midichlorians?
You actually like that?
The thing is, it tried to make it too like science based, in my opinion.
Too sciencey.
Too religious, like immaculate.
Yeah.
Conception or some shit. I don't know.
He tried to take
Isn't it Immaculate Conception when Palpatine pretty much confirmed that he created Anakin out of the Force?
That was
so he just like he used the midichlorians in her blood to make Anakin. I get it. That's
by the way, the worst thing about Star Wars and the Sith is that by the time people know what Star Wars is, you're getting basically the Kmart Sith. That's all Palpatine.
yeah, because they're down to the rule of two. Yeah.
Well, that and they don't know. By the time that the magic has gotten to him, he's basically like somebody who robbed a museum or a grave
and killed all the masters and hid all the knowledge and yeah.
Well, they didn't. By the time it got like within 200 years of him, the magic of the Sith and had been watered down. The secrets had been lost. That's why when you see Exar Kun, Kun is a true Sith. If he were on the same playing field as a Palpatine, it would be like 2 seconds. He would wipe him out in 2 seconds.
Well, Exar Kun and fucking Revan and all those motherfuckers would just mop the floor with everybody right now. So, what do you think? How do you think the Sith are going to be interpreted in this High Republic, this acolyte? Since there's no rule of two at this point, so we can have equal playing field, equal Sith, equal Jedi instead of Dark Jedi.
It's still less Sith than there would be. You're only talking about 100 and some odd years.
It's not the Sith Empire or whatever.
Thousands of years. Had they have gone a couple thousand or 4,000 years, then it wouldn't be. But you're still within striking distance of that Skywalker shit. So you could still kind of say, well, the rule of two is still in there. I don't know where they're headed with it though. The acolyte, when it comes to acolyte, there's a lot of room for improvement. But I didn't mind it at all. I mean, I thought
I haven't started watching yet, but that I understand the High Republic is 400 years before BBY. So.
But this show is only 100 or so years before this. Which is disappointing to me because I thought they were going at least 200 years before. But
because you could even get a younger Yoda at that point because he's 500 if you go 400 years back.
Yeah, or Mace Windu.
I miss during Empire when he was just like a puppet from like Frank Oz.
Frank Oz, yeah.
Yeah.
That's because you didn't have. I mean, that's all you had back then. And like I said, he didn't make the main reason why George Lucas he turned down offers to make movies in the interim is because he wanted the technology to be able to do what he actually envisioned. That's why it took 16 years to get another Star Wars movie.
I just wish it wasn't the prequel trilogy that we end up getting.
Yeah.
The people who don't like the prequel series are the people who actually saw 4, 5, and 6. But that's the point. That's becoming an antiquated point of view because a lot of this generation sees things in sequential 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So before they even get to A New Hope, they're watching. They're looking at Phantom Menace in a different way than we are.
The one shining light from the prequel series is Ewan McGregor.
It's William. It's right now. It's farther away, or it's around the same time as the prequels from right now as it was for Special Edition. when Special Edition dropped. You know what I'm saying? Because Special Edition came out in 97, so that was 20 years after. It's been since the prequel started in 99 and ended in 2005. We're almost 20 years removed to the end.
Yeah. It's and like I said, people who are coming into Star Wars now,
Yeah, like kids,
they're
they just
looking
like
at us.
said, they watch it 1 through 6, and
they like
don't.
it. There's the positive. There's an overwhelmingly positive response to episodes 1, 2, and 3 from that generation than anything else, because the stuff that you currently see now lines up more with the stuff that came out from 99 till now than the stuff that's in the 80s and looks dated and everything else. You start showing a kid that, he's going to look at you like you're a fucking fossil trying to grow another fossil. But when they look at Baby Yoda, when they look at a lot of stuff, it's much more in tune with what they would see in episode 1 than anything else. So for that generation, 1, 2, and 3, they probably like those better than they like. I mean, because if you look at it and you're honest, you look at the technology behind Star Wars, we have a sentimental connection to it. They're going to have a raw, what is this connection to it?
You know what that stems from? Bad parenting. You got to you got to show your kids old movies so that they have an appreciation and they don't look at them as fossil movies.
They can have an appreciation. They'll still see them, but they're not going to prefer one of them. Like for me, I like old Star Trek.
Parents are at work all day and the kids are on Netflix all day, and the Netflix is, or the streaming service is showing it in sequential order. Like Disney suggesting it in sequential order, and the parents just put the Disney right on for the kids and bounce. You know, they got to go to work.
Yeah,
so.
and you teach your kids how to count, and that's what they're going to do.
Right.
I'm just kidding about bad parenting, though.
Because it's not bad parenting on like when I was a kid. It's to prefer Trek that had technology that didn't look like a fucking tennis ball being spun around in a circle. No, I mean I can still appreciate that old Trek for what they had, but I'm more in tune with Next Generation and beyond. It's just where you're at in life. That's all. I mean,
I was going to say,
you can't tell a generation that didn't live through that archaic shit that's what they're supposed to like. It's not going to float.
I've seen the original trilogy on like a full like 4K HDR, and it actually holds up really well. And I'm sure, it really does. You'd be shocked to see how well.
To us, we're in our 40s. To a generation, it's not going to
like the restoration and all that, right?
Yeah, I'm talking
about. They're still going to watch them 1, 2, 3. They're still going to watch them in sequential order. And once you get to 4, when the stuff that they respect out of it, you're going backwards as far as like you look at Star Wars. Star Wars is dated to somebody who.
I think to Vince's point, I bet that trench run at the end of New Hope is pretty sick still.
Oh, it is.
Oh yeah.
Just whatever you
go. It's not going to put episode 4 over the top for them, though.
No. Not saying that, but still, I'm sure.
It was 1977.
That's what I'm saying, and that's fine. But like I said, you're selling Star Wars to a generation that doesn't have that connection to that stuff that we did.
I think the dirtiest move they pulled was making Episode 7 so much like Episode 4.
That was the dirtiest move.
Yes, it's almost like an erasure. Like, you can't handle the old stuff. See the new stuff that acts like the old stuff.
Yeah.
Well, they don't
I asked my nephew if he watched RoboCop, and he said, yeah. And I said, the new one? He's like, yeah. He has never even seen the actual RoboCop movie.
Curse you remakes.
That's what happens, man.
Of all
1,
the
2,
things that
3,
could
Rogue One, 4, 5, 6.
I was saying, of all the things they could have did, you get the hottest IP on the planet. You can do anything with it. And that's what you do with it. That was the only thing I was like, just.
I mean, look at all the constant remakes Disney's doing.
I mean, Hollywood's been doing remakes since
film came out the day after the first movie came out.
Pretty much.
No,
but there was a lot of reasons to do those remakes, though.
Oh, really?
Technology was excitingly new, so they wanted to go try the.
They're just doing the same thing the cartoons did, but live action.
Yeah, but Aladdin made $1 billion, so that genie ain't going back.
I mean, that had Will Smith, so yeah.
I thought he did as good a job as he really could have as Genie.
I mean, he's basically
people love that.
Which movie?
I mean,
how much is the Lion King? Did the Lion King
the live action Aladdin for us?
Didn't Lion King make a crap load of money too when they remade that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why they're making another one, I think.
Yeah, Mufasa. It's a prequel to that one, or a prequel told in flashbacks.
Let me guess.
Well, the animals have no emotion. These just have one face.
Yeah, well, they tried to make it photorealistic, and it just kind of failed to me. I know it made a lot of money, but I didn't.
Yeah, they got a few. They got a few of those movies, and they all look kind of weird.
And I'm kind of with John Campea. I don't really consider that live action since the entire movie is CGI.
It's CGI. Wow, that fucking movie made $1.6 billion.
Dear goodness.
Yeah, I thought Aladdin was a lot better as a story.
I didn't see either one of them because they are for kids.
Okay.
Sorry.
You got released for inner child, William.
Yeah. What is your favorite? What is your favorite Disney flick? Or were you actually you were Walt Disney's fucking mechanic, weren't you?
William's inner child died 40 years ago.
40 years before that, dude.
I never really had it. My childhood, I was watching Friday the 13th. I was watching Invasion.
What inspired Eddie Murphy to fucking join the military and become the guy that he became?
I wasn't watching Disney. I wasn't a Disney kid. I mean, by the time I was old, the old man wasn't watching Disney.
I mean, you fucked with Steamboat Willie. That was new to you, right? You like that, right?
Whatever, dude. No, I didn't. Like I said, I didn't. Lion King. I was a grown ass man by the time Lion King came around, and I didn't watch any of the old Donald Duck shit. I mean, we just didn't watch it. That wasn't the household I was in.
Oh, that's a darn shame.
No, I think I was lucky because I mean, like I said, we didn't do. We didn't do, like I said.
You never shed a tear over Bambi?
No,
not once, William.
No.
Oh, you heartless man.
You're a monster, dude.
Guess what? Hey, I'm gonna let you guys in on something. Hold on. I'm gonna let you guys in on. And this is a secret that I've held a long time, and I've never really let this out. Right? It's a fucking cartoon. Bambi is not real.
Who the hell cares?
Hold on. Wait. I'm sorry. Hold on. I did this out of I did this. There you go. Old Yeller didn't really die in the movies. Right?
Now you're saying there's no suspension of disbelief.
Hey, I got one for you, William. Did you cry during Big Fish?
No.
Oh man.
Or Dumbo's mom.
My teacher showed us that in class, and he was crying.
That guy's William's heartless. He's like a Terminator, or like some kind of kid from another dimension that killed William, and took over his body.
Yeah, guys.
Or took over his shtick.
Hold on. It's not real.
Who the fuck cares?
Nothing real unless you're watching Cannibal Holocaust and you're not crying there. None of this shit really happened. Okay.
Who the hell cares if it didn't happen?
Didn't happen. No harm, no foul, no tears. There you go.
Well, wait, didn't you say like you were shedding a tear on Picard season 3 or some shit during one of your live streams? Wasn't that you?
I said if I did shed tears, I would have when I saw Enterprise G. Other people, grown ass people that I watched that with, were crying at the sight of Enterprise D.
I think I saw like a little glisten come out of your, a little glimmer come down the side of your cheek, William.
I think I get it now. You think that us humans are the problem since we're crying at movies?
I wouldn't.
What was last time you cried, William?
At a movie?
Yeah.
Probably. You cried when the fucking Wright brothers finally took off. It was like a fucking huge change.
Oh, that was a one lame joke.
I don't care if it's cartoons. I remember one time I cried when I saw the SpongeBob movie and he almost died.
I cried at the end of Terminator 2.
Oh,
I cried at the end of Justice League.
Crying at those things is just as silly as the stuff you guys are trying to be serious. I mean, what do you?
Oh, screw you, William.
Bob, come on, man. What is
You know what gets me?
I grew up on that show. Screw you.
The end of Monster Squad gets me. I cry when Frankenstein has to leave.
What the fuck happened to my show?
It's became a spam. You gotta express your feelings, bro.
What kind of stuff? What kind
We're all a group of men here sharing our feelings.
Aaron has a suggestion right here.
We're talking to our Vulcan named William.
Yeah, we're talking to an emotionless robot.
No, it's entertainment. It's entertainment, guys. It's
Who
entertainment.
the fuck cares, William?
I
I
cried during episodes of the Sci-Fi Center
where the dog really died. I mean, if you're watching something like real and you know, at the end of the documentary, but it's entertainment. You have to take it as such.
All right, William's got to take the Marley and Me challenge.
Unless you're and you want to cry at Titanic, which I got into fights in Titanic. I caught guys crying. I caught guys.
You got into a fight on the Titanic?
Yeah, he did. He's the reason the iceberg they steered into the iceberg. He was an argument with the fucking captain.
That movie. The only reason they made that movie because their girlfriends drug him to that movie. They didn't want to.
Wow.
So you're not getting Celine. You're not going to give Celine Dion any credit for that song she came up with, huh?
If I take her to this movie, I'm going to score tonight. Maybe I'll shed a tear and make it look real.
Man, maybe you should have brought somebody to the Titanic, bro. You would have been a little less.
I went to see the ship sink because I'm like, okay, this is cool. That's about it.
Frozen. The Titanic shit.
A love story on a doomed ship. Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't make a Twin Towers movie where they were banging into towers.
Oh, you heartless bastard!
I mean, come on. I'm not heartless entertainment. You guys are taking this like it's gospel.
You ever watch a movie?
We're just being entertained, dude. We're not taking it like it's gospel. We're just laughing and crying at movies, man. That's what you do. It's called,
it's
an emotive
fun.
Whatever.
Oh, I almost cried during If a couple times. So. I mean, everybody's different as far
Everybody
as
has different experiences too. Everybody's going to have different experience because there were people that when I went and saw Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, if you had just gone through something like that, or if you had just gotten a divorce or you just lost somebody permanently, they had passed away, and you see with those two buffoons, who, by the way, because Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, the first half of the movie, you want to choke these people because they're giving up their.
Oh, come on, it's Jim Carrey. I don't want to choke Jim.
No, hold on.
That's the Mark Ruffalo one. Mark Ruffalo, Jim Carrey, Kirsten Dunst.
It's his best movie, right? But these two characters.
No, his best movie is Ace Ventura.
Shut up, dude. The first half of the movie, they're trying to erase their memories, and then when they figure out that that's not what they want to do, then I start rooting for them. That's his best performance. I wish he'd have done more stuff like that than the stupid shit. But
Fun has one for William, Brad. Pull that fun one up, Brad.
See. The Titanic did not crash in the pin of the iceberg.
But it was so silly, dude. It's like you just couldn't show me a movie about the ship getting the iceberg and sinking. They got to be banging on it and looking for jewelry.
Bro, we need to make a meme of Aaron kicking William because
we're gonna have the Hindenburg going down in flames and they're doing each other on the Hindenburg and like I love you. We're gonna die.
In the back of the Hindenburg on Indiana Jones.
What version did you watch?
Last Crusade.
The Truman Show is not his best, but thanks for playing, dude.
What version did you watch?
Listen. You're both wrong, okay? Because his best, without question, is this.
You're gonna get us kicked off for some bullshit, aren't you?
Ace Ventura.
After part 2, I wanted to erase my memory.
This is legit going to get us thrown off. You're trying to get us thrown off, and we're trying to get monetized, and you're going to get us thrown off.
Yeah, Brad, that's kind of throwing a wrench in everything, man. You can't do that anymore, dude.
They don't seem to like Jim Carrey on some of these things. What's the thing? 2 seconds of it got us thrown off the air. Had to fight to get kicked back.
Don't you forget about this movie, The Mask.
You got to get drops ready, Brad, so you can get away with it. You got to get a little drop system going or different background music.
Learn how to do those yet.
No, but anyway, no. What's all?
I can only imagine William on a date and his date's crying during a movie and how insensitive.
Hey. Can't you focus on the ship sinking, lady?
What's the matter with you? Shit's fake.
You go to like I said, when I went to Titanic, I'm like, because I only went to see that one time because I'm a James Cameron fan and I didn't realize how much he had sold out until I saw this movie. But there was all kinds of chicks that were crying. They've been like 4 or 5 times seeing it. And I'm like, there's nothing changed from the first.
When I saw it, I think because that was a family night. My sister was like really, really into the Titanic hype at the time. We saw it like 5 months or 4 months, something like that. It was like April '98, and we saw it. So it had been out for quite a while, and it was still like number one, like consistently, for like 12 weeks after that.
Oh,
And it was, it was a full house. 4 or 5 months later, it was still a full house.
Crying and shit. Oh my god.
Yeah.
And when they turned him into, I thought the cool part of the movie, people were looking at me like I was some fucking demon. When, dude, great effects. Jack is frozen solid. First of all, you could have got his ass.
Oh, that is dark.
There was enough room on that fucking door
dude.
to get on there.
Wow.
That was cool though. He's all frozen. And I'm like
he wasn't the right class of people to get on the lifeboat. That was the whole.
Yeah, but there was enough room on the door. There was plenty of room.
It wasn't about the room. It was about the classism.
You didn't even try.
I remember going to see Titanic. There were women crying in the lobby.
You met this guy, and in 3 days, you're already banging him. You're letting him draw you naked, and you're in love with him now. But all of a sudden, you don't have enough room. When
you can't say the guy didn't have charm.
That's how your heart goes on, William.
That was prime DiCaprio back then, before Killers of the Flower Moon DiCaprio, which it looks like now.
Jack, I think you should get on this thing. You might freeze to death.
Like Russell Crowe.
Well, they're both.
I'm heartless. Rose lets Jack die. I'm heartless.
Well, listen. I mean,
don't you want to experience that, William?
They're both soaking wet, and it's like the air is like 22 degrees, so it's like it's a 50-50 shot anyway. If you survive, you get out the door.
Once he's in that water, that hypothermia is gonna that was.
No, I'm saying, but they're both like it's soaking wet clothes, and the air is freezing.
Well, no,
so
but a lot of those people survived. A lot of those people that were above the water survived.
Don't you want to experience that, William? A love that spans time.
Inside of an Emerald storyline or Sapphire storyline.
They met.
It's romantic.
How sweet! Come on, they met on this ship. That's like some Vegas shit. Get out of here with this stuff.
Yeah, but then it turned into an all-time classic love story by the iceberg and the jewel. So it was a thing. It was that lady was trying to spin a fucking story so she could sell that fucking grandma jewel. You know what I mean? That's what the whole movie was about.
Every disaster.
You have to have a narrative. That jewel is worth a lot more if it has a love story tied to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay.
Gotta get your romance up.
You know what I'm saying? Yes, you say it yourself. You got to be able to market.
Well, by the way, anybody who's seen like the alternate ending where they come up to Rose like when she drops the jewel, and Bill Paxton, all of them, they find her there, and she says, "I had it the whole time," and he's begging her, "Oh, please, just let me. I've been searching for this for the years. Just let me hold it one time." And she does, and then she drops it over, and the one dude with the Watchman shirt on goes like, "That really sucks. We're gonna find this now." It's like, no, they got submersibles. They could find a quarter buried underneath of a rock.
You
6 miles
know
deep.
where she was at. You know where she dropped. I mean, just that.
I can't believe you're trying to find plot holes in a freaking love story.
That was the plot hole. That was the plot hole.
Oh my gosh!
Let's just add that to it. That's all
right. Well, you tell Cameron. You tell Cameron he's got to do better.
Let's do Chernobyl. Let's do Chernobyl.
Romance is irrational, William.
Let's have.
If you have a problem with it so much, go to James Cameron's house and tell him this.
Right. Listen. I know you make $2 billion movies on a regular basis, but you need to take my advice.
No, you're asking me why it's not for me. Listen. James Cameron, but he did Terminator, he did Aliens, all the other.
Why do we have a spoiler alert up for fucking Titanic?
Freaking 1997.
I think everybody knows what happens at the end of that shit if they never saw it.
You guys are crying at like fictional animals dying on damn car.
Hey, you take that back.
What was the movie that almost got you then, William? What's something that came close that if you were a normal human being, it would have got you?
It was called the Sarah Connor Chronicles. Almost got him crying.
E.T. When E.T. died, I almost, and the old man's like, this is real. When he died and they resurrected him.
You cried for E.T.?
I almost did, but the old man looked at me and I was like, I was about to be.
What a fucking wuss! No,
but it didn't happen. I was with somebody. I was with somebody who cried at Braveheart. I was with a fellow soldier that was crying at Braveheart, and I'm like, dude. You got to transfer units when we get back to
transfer units, dude.
He was no longer your friend after that.
No longer brother in arms, man. Huh?
You know what? I'm not going to let anybody know that this happened. Just
as long as you don't think less of us crying.
Come on, William. You just hate humans.
Hey, Forrest. I bet he cries if he watches Nightcrawler. I bet Nightcrawler makes him cry. I bet that's what we're dealing with here.
Oh yeah. Oh man.
Like I said, I don't have any emotional connection to these movies. Like I said, if you watch something like, I know people who go see Up. I know senior citizens.
Don't tell me you didn't like the opening sequence. Come on, dude.
I didn't go see it.
Oh, good. Okay.
No. But I know what happened. And I know people who have grown old and been married 40, 50, 60 years, and one of them has passed away. So if you were going to see that and you were that I can understand, because that's an emotional connection. I don't have emotional connection to.
I was 20 and I cried with that. I'm like, I'm not even any close to that when I watched it.
William just doesn't have emotional connections.
Not to the movie, not to the point where it's not beyond entertainment. I'm going to be entertained.
We're going to get you a puppy, William.
I think
The Grinch is still movies over here. You need to get your heart 3 times bigger, William.
Yeah, you're like the Grinch.
My heart is fine. Fuck all y'all.
He's going to be on 60 Minutes Australia. He's going to be talking about the Ocean Gate disaster.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. They'll make a movie out of that too. And then
he said it's not going to be me doing it, because they asked him straight up, "Are you the Titanic guy? Are you going to do it?" He said, "No, I'm not doing that."
Brad and William, Larry's crying too.
Love story out of that. They'll make a love story.
I can't wait until William finds love.
And then they're going to play Celine Dion.
William's the Grinch right now.
That wasn't there before.
It's entertainment, guys. It's not that. I don't have a connection to it like that. There's nothing. These events don't touch me in that way, and there's nothing wrong with that. If they touch you, I'm like, I don't know why, but hey.
Whoa! We're talking about tears, not touches, bro. Come on, man. Where are you at, Will?
Yeah, whatever. Anyway, it's not real.
Well,
who the hell cares if it's not real, William?
Not real.
I mean, no movie is real, really, when you think about it.
Right.
Exactly, which means
why am I true story?
People
that would mean
connect to
that you
the
can't
story.
cheer for a movie.
I can connect to the story without, shedding a tear over it.
Have you ever cheered for a movie, like a moment in a movie? It's not real, William.
Yeah.
It's not real,
But here's the thing, though.
Oh.
Cheering for it is a natural momentum going with the movie. There's nothing like
you just got all the answers.
I can watch Star Trek and cheer for Picard to defeat the Borg.
Why?
But if one of those characters dies, I'm like,
oh, but here's the thing, William. It's not real.
Exactly. But if he dies, guess what? He's in the next movie I'm going to go see.
If he dies, he dies.
There you go.
Yeah.
And then, like Apollo Creed. Guess what? When Apollo Creed died in Rocky IV, I saw him in Action Jackson a year later. Guess what? There you go.
That's a different franchise, William. Come on.
You didn't cheer when the fucking One Ring fell in the Mount Doom?
Yeah.
The what?
The One Ring.
The One Ring fell in the Mount Doom. You didn't cheer?
I didn't cry.
I didn't say cry. I said cheer. You didn't cheer when they succeeded?
Well, listen, guys. Now, let's talk about crying. I mean,
you gotta be kidding me. Speaking of Rocky, when he lost his mentor, Mickey, I was
But there's something that makes me cry all the time, right? This right here.
Oh, we know, Brad.
For you. Again with this?
Seriously, dude, you're trying to get us kicked off. Like that's what
at least flip your screen, Brad, or play it at like low speed or something. Shit.
You're working extra hard on the day we might get monetized to make sure we don't get monetized. It takes a lot.
You're really going for that hashtag.
Come on, the way he just had this list of that package. Is like,
Brad the Saboteur.
Most likely, but it was something nice though.
Whatever.
I like the
hey, that's been fun.
Yeah. And
you already talked Alien Romulus?
On that note, we're at 620 right now.
We're at 620.
Did you already talk Alien Romulus?
Yeah, you already did.
Yeah.
There was a huge alien chunk in the middle of the show, in the beginning of the show.
We were talking about that. Like,
I was out looking for my cat. I must miss that one.
Is that a metaphor?
I'm just saying. Don't expect much from Fede Alvarez. That's all I'm going to say.
Don't do what?
Don't expect much from Fede Alvarez, the director.
The director. Okay. What is he known for?
The Evil Dead remake, which was okay.
That wasn't bad. I mean, that's not horrific. It's not like he did like Birds of Prey or some shit. You know, I mean,
he's
Birds of Prey, man.
He was actually the second unit director on Birds of Prey.
No, that was Chad Stahelski.
Oh, was?
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, it was because they wanted to give like a little bit of a John Wick kind of feel to the action. And
everything that they tried with that movie failed. To be honest with you, except for you.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
What?
You don't like Cassandra?
Please don't tell me. Please don't tell me.
I brought the second unit director up, so that's Clint's thing.
Please don't. When I was watching that movie,
that says that movie was a success on any level.
When I was watching that movie, I didn't even realize that I was watching Gotham City. It looked like Gotham, Canada.
Yeah, they didn't really. They could have done better. Like
Gotham, Quebec.
They could have done better with everything about that.
Then the Nolan Batman is Gotham, Chicago.
Well, I mean, at least that looks like that consistently with what they're trying to do.
BVS
But
is
there was
Gotham,
no
Detroit.
design in that city.
BVS is Newark and fucking Delaware.
Well, it filmed in Detroit, though, is what I'm saying. So
Brad, I just turned on My Adventures of Superman earlier, right?
Yeah.
And so they show the fucking
Metropolis
is like 268 miles away from Smallville, right?
Yeah.
But they call them Kansas and they call them Smallville, but that would suggest that it's either in fucking Missouri or it's in Kansas if it's that close, right? So
yeah. Well, like Spidey's pointed out multiple times, we've done watch parties for it. So that's one of the that was one of the giveaways of like how bad the reshoots were in Justice League. Was they try to portray they've already established there's a big gap from Smallville to Metropolis, and they try to portray them as being within like an hour of each other and just completely fall flat on that. That was a rec. William, this will annoy William that I know this, but that was a retcon they kind of pulled in a Smallville where they initially set up that there's a the Metropolis is like I think initially like season 2 that one of the men I think it was Chloe mentions offhand they're like there's a gap of like
trying to find Smallville on the ban list. Is that what you're trying to do? This is not even in there. Whatever, Brad.
But you can't bash it on the ban list, man.
Well, after this, I may watch BVS, and when Superman dies, I might cry.
But so they initially it's like a 6-hour round trip in like season 2, and then they retcon it to it's like the capital city of Kansas, so they're within like an hour of each other at most.
Should have retconned the show.
In year one Batman, they're like 100 or 110 miles apart from each other, so not as close as BVS, but 100 miles away or so. So that
once we start
fluctuates.
bringing up Smallville, that means it's time to end the show. So, hey.
Yeah.
What's your favorite episode of Smallville? Do you remember the Amy Adams episode? Who was your favorite villain? Did you like Doomsday on Smallville?
Are you being serious right now?
Did you like it when Lex Luthor was hot on Smallville? Or how about when Lex Luthor was hanging out with a bunch of teenagers while everybody thought he was the best Lex Luthor ever?
Okay, what? Okay,
that's fucking Lex Luthor on that show, hanging out with a bunch of teenagers. They're in high school, and he's Lex Luthor at that point.
Everything about that show,
like it's Luthor Corp. It is Luthor Corp when it first starts. It is Luthor Corp when it first starts.
That show was a joke. I'm sorry.
Hey, it's not a joke.
A joke.
I can agree with William on that.
Well, you know what? I could pull up again.
Like I said, and once again, if it weren't for the fact that it was on a sham network that didn't require viewers to stay open, then it wouldn't have lasted.
Well, if it would have went to CBS, it would have died in one season like The Flash, which is a bigger network.
The Flash, you talking about the John Wesley Shipp Flash?
It was a good show, but it still only died after one season, so that would have been Smallville's fate if it was on a bigger network. I think.
Here's the thing, because it was on a network that required viewers to justify ad revenue.
Yeah, absolutely, the CW could get away with nothing. You're right, but
the CW
gave you a whole 10 seasons or whatever. So
the CW did not require people watching it to stay open. It was
but they gave. I might not think it's the greatest thing in the world, but they got 10 seasons out of it.
Yeah, because there was no consequences on a real network. They would have been canceled already. They wouldn't have.
He shouldn't have formed the Justice League in Smallville, and they shouldn't have had Doomsday and Lex Luthor as.
I am not. We're not dignifying the CW with conversations.
We get it already.
Well, we're definitely gonna have to do that when we talk about Superman Lois season 4. So there's no way.
You didn't cry when Blade Runner bombed, William?
William, did you cry at the end of Blade when he killed Frost?
I can't believe there are defenders of this fucking network, but you know what? You guys continue to enjoy its mediocrity, and it's like I said, it's the fact that it never made any money. A trash network that never drew a profit. Never drew a profit. How the fuck does that happen and people still keep their jobs and stuff stays on air? You're literally
money laundering scheme, clearly.
They were doing it for the passion.
They were doing it to hide money. Is what they were doing it, and to hide their losses. Is what they were doing it. It was a shell.
They're like Mr. Krabs, money.
That's what they were. Like I said, that's why these shows exist on ad revenue.
So you're saying the Flash existed on ad revenue?
No, nothing on the CW existed for anything that was to make money because they never did.
Yeah, that's why they folded as a network, right?
Yeah, and the funny thing about it is people forget that the CW is a culmination of two failed networks.
CBS and the Warner Brothers, or UPN and the Warner Brothers.
UPN. Two failed networks coming together to make one failed network.
Great back in the day.
Okay.
Yeah, girlfriends and homeboys in outer space.
Come on, man.
Hey, thank you everybody for
William tried hit him with the truth like that for us.
and making our.
They have that frog too, right? To do all their black shows, right? For us.
Okay, cut. Everyone quiet.
Didn't EPN have Moesha? I think
800 subscribers.
Oh, really?
Now we're at 620.
We're at still 620. Don't get our hopes.
Still, I thought we were 600, so we're still going up.
Don't make our hearts jump up like that.
Died.
Well, just let us take over the show. When you wake up in the morning, you'll probably have like 900
going to the show while I'm here.
Right, and you get more viewers, dude. That's what we're trying to tell you, bro. We spice it up for you. We don't even look. I don't even have a channel or nothing. I get nothing out of this, dude.
We're practically CW.
Except for insulted. I get insulted a lot, specifically by the hosts.
No, please don't make me the CW. I want to actually be successful. Who disappeared? All right. Well, everybody's about to disappear. So, all right.
Try.
All right, guys.
William, say try. You had a 500, 600 sub day. Say try, dude. That's a try ass day, dude.
Okay. It's on a t-shirt somewhere for you guys to.
Oh, what is on a t-shirt?
You didn't even bring the Wonder Woman shit out today, dude. You said you were going to bring it out for the show. That's why you cut the other show short. It's because you're going to bring out the Wonder Woman.
Can we at least see the costume?
You are making up bullshit and expecting me to say,
I'm making shit up. It's on the video. You can go rewind it, dude.
Can we at least see the costume?
Yeah.
No.
On you.
He keeps his favorite costume at home.
Have a great rest of your weekend. Please ignore everything you heard here in the last hour.
But thank you very much for our new subscribers too.
Larry called you Wonder William, yo.
New subscribers that are watching into this for the very first time, I'm gonna have to do another stream just to explain all of this.
Wonder William.
Everybody
try.
Bye.
Better than Wendy William.
Yeah.